Thank you everyone for coming. So welcome to the Global Research Conference 2023. My name's Rachel and I'm going to be your MC for the day. We would like to commence the GRC 2023 here at King's College with the inauguration ceremony. I would like to go through some housekeeping before we start. So today's session is going to be split up into 3 parts. So we have the inauguration ceremony and the keynote address. After we have session 1 and session 2. All refreshments, morning and afternoon tea will be held in the Saltmarsh reception room, which you've all already been to, I think. All sessions will be held here in the Beeves room. The restrooms are located just outside the Beeves room and the fire exits are located at the doors. As Professor Dr. Parin Samani mentioned yesterday, please ensure no photographs are taken outside the room and please don't walk on the grass outside as it's a finable offence. Next, I would like to introduce Professor Dr. Parin Samani on behalf of Mr. Alan Hock to deliver the chairperson welcome address.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know how to say a big thank you to all my beautiful souls sitting in front of me. I wanted to say a very, very big thank you to all my right hand and left hand, my leaders who have supported me this morning when I just walked in. So thank you to each and everyone who were there with me. Today is a day of celebration. Today is a day, something where we can all be together and make Global Research Conference a successful event. It's sad that my chairperson, who is unable to come because of the emergency has happened, and as we know that when we went for a dinner last night, we are aware of the situation. From his heart, he just messaged me this morning and he spoke to me that I miss them and I would love to see them in the future conferences. And he has given his best wishes and loads of success to all of us. I need to apologize that half an hour, 35 minutes we were delayed, but we will try to make it up in the time because I don't want to run the schedule. I want to do time. So we will be doing according to the time, according to the schedule, it will be done. I wanted to say a big thank you for the chief guest, Dr. Parul Begum. Thank you, Parul, for coming and supporting us. I would like to say a big thank you to Sherry. She's an aesthetic, one of the new technology person here, and I know we are going to love her when we hear her. She is our inaugural speaker, and I cannot forget my colleague, Professor Dr. Feng Su, Angie Su, and she is from Florida University. I also wanted to say a big thank you to each and everyone who are here, who are very close and dear to me. Thank you, and I will be speaking again as a keynote speaker later in the morning. Thank you.
I would now like to invite the inaugural chief guest speaker, Dr. Parul Begum. She is a life and leadership coach and international best-selling author. She is an international keynote speaker, award-winning life and leadership coach and best-selling author. Dr. Parul Begum has delivered thought-provoking keynotes to corporations and organisations, including the Global Women's Club London, Global Women's Club Accra, and Relationship Communication Group based in the United States. Dr. Parul champions the success of women and young girls who desire to build a sustainable life after harassment or abuse. As a specialist safeguarding trainer, Dr. Parul serves as CEO and founder of Azraf Coaching Consultancy and Training Limited, and a global company that helps women who have experienced adversity in life, such as domestic violence, sexual abuse, or childhood trauma. Dr. Parul hosts a wildly popular podcast broadcast live on YouTube. Parul is the contributing author of the Amazon #1 best-selling book Strong and Free Volume 2. She has authored 2 ebooks, Boost Your Confidence in 7 Days and 7 Secrets to Unshakable Confidence. Dr. Parul Begum will begin speaking on women and leadership. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Farin Sumani, for inviting me. I know it was last minute, but it was amazing to be here and amazing to meet all these people. You never know where you're going to be next and who you meet. I only met Dr. Farin Sumani last month in India, and we both based in London. I didn't realize we were based in London.
She was invited from here and I was invited from India. So it's just happened that, look at the small world. She specially was invited to come from London to India. And I was invited back because I was there and they invited. So it was a good connection.
Yeah, it's a small world.
And the thing is that we meet so many people in our life, but we don't know who can be the next person sitting next to you, and there you go.
Absolutely. I think, opportunity in our doorstep, we just have to grab it. And, amazing people today I met. We never know where we're going to meet next. So amazing to be here. And thank you for inviting me and asking me to speak. So I'm all into women empowerment, women leaderships, and children. I just want to start asking, does anyone know how many countries in this world provide equal financial footprint for women? Does anyone know?
Great question. Great question. 10
Okay.
0.
I'll come back to that. Okay, so according to UN Women Division, 30 women were serving as a head of state or in government in 28 countries in September 2022, out of 195 countries in the world. But it's amazing to see women are getting there, but it's a long struggle. There are 7 women in FTSE 100 in UK, and in January 2023, first time, Fortune 500 recorded as a 53 CEOs in the companies. So about 10%. So we are getting there. Not depressing, but we're going to be there because we have the power to reach our full potentials and achieve our dream. Now, the problem and consequences of having less women or the reason, obviously gender bias is the biggest problem we have. Even though women have been fighting for their rights, equal share for decades, and we're not giving up. Because men are always seen as more competent, more capable, even in leadership, even women might have same qualification or more, but women often not get chosen. Especially corporate world, we've seen women delaying now giving birth because they want to climb up the ladder. If you're in a banking industry, and if you go on maternity leave, you don't get promoted. Because that's one example I'm using from my friend. So you don't get promoted because you're going to be off for 6 months or a year. And that we've seen a lot. Sexual harassment, bullying, hostile working environment, all are some of those obstacles women face. And if you are a color woman or disabled, you have double, triple discrimination. I'm one of them. I've suffered all of them. Recently, in last January, I attended a launch of a research report in Houses of Parliament, launched by Forces Society, called House for Everyone. And it's a case for modernizing UK Parliament.
Good job.
The report was shocking but not surprising. They interviewed MPs, and some of the things came out was biggest issue are online abuse, sexism, racism, ableism. And I heard first-hand experience from one of the female MP. She often been denied to go into staff room, in MP's staff room, because she is the youngest Asian Muslim female. And she been called always a PA, because lots of Asian young women work as a PA in UK Parliament. But doesn't mean all are PAs. There are women who also serve as MPs. So listening to some of those women who are experiencing all this, it was heartbreaking. But you know what? We're not going to give up. All women have superpower, and we're going to reach our full potential. Now, when Jacinda Ardern served over 6 years in New Zealand, and she decided to have time for herself, her family, and she resigned earlier this year, BBC questioned her on the day of resignation, can women have it all? So I'm asking all those men who do not support women empowerment, women leadership, can men have it all? Why men not question, can men have it all? Why women always have to give evidence they can balance, they have to multitask, they can manage home, they can manage outside, why not men? But you know what, we don't give up, we continue to fight. So I come back to the answer to the question. I was doing some research this week. I only found 6 countries who provide equal financial footprint, and they are Belgium, Denmark, France, Latvia, Luxembourg, and Sweden. A few years back was only Sweden was the only country who was giving equal pay to women. So it's good to know now it's 6 countries. So if you want to have a financial footprint, you might need to go and live there. And one of the things I've noticed is like whether you live in East or West as a woman, we still face discrimination. Women in Afghanistan denied basic right to education. Women in USA denied basic right to over their body, especially the recent legislation where anti-abortion law. That was heartbreaking. Listening from some of my friends, people even thinking to move the state because they can't have a life that they want to have. So women, wherever you go, there is always barriers, so we never give up. And I just wanted to kind of talk about a bit more of consequences of having all this discrimination. We've seen now, obviously, social media, online trend. Some of the celebrities actually have sexualized view, and our young boys have that. And we've seen like people like Andrew Tate, how he view things and how young people take that on board. We've seen game like GTA, which is actually portrayed women as a sexual symbol. And children, younger children playing, even though it's got age restriction, because sibling playing, they play as well. So what we teaching our children? Children witnessing domestic violence and portraying same things what their father did to their mother, especially boys. I'll give you an example during my work with domestic violence. A family were taken into refuge here in UK because of domestic violence at home. A teenage boy one day pushed his mother from upstairs to downstairs through the stairs. When he was interviewed by a professional, he said, I thought that's normal because my dad did that to my mom all the time. I've seen that from baby, so I don't see any different why I shouldn't push my mom. So what are we teaching our children? If a child seeing that from early age, they think is normal for them. So it's really important for men and women. We take shared responsibility to teach our children about respect, about love. If there is no respect, no love, we're not going to have equal society. At the same time, men who do not support women need to come forward. And more men who support women issue, who view equal society, they need to come forward as a champion, working alongside, hand in hand, with women. Because we need to work with men, not just providing a solution or support to women, but support men to have a different perspective, to understand humanity. because it's all about humanity. If men understand about humanity, there would be fair society. Women would not have to fight for their rights. And I want to finish off with a couple of bullet pointers for women who are listening or who are going to be watching this. It's really important, and these points came from my own personal development as a woman. I had to go through a lot of barriers to become who I am now. Escaping forced marriage to bullying, harassment, ableism, discrimination, group bullying because of my color, because of my age as a youngest manager, everything, and because of women as overall. But these are the things I use myself, so I just want to share some of those points that helped me. The most important thing is self-confidence. And that also I've noticed during COVID when I was working with lots of women who are actually going through domestic violence. One of the biggest problems, or two biggest problems came through to me was because of lack of self-confidence, they don't come out for help. The second thing is because of lack of financial support or lack of finance issues, either they are not in job or they're in low income, they think if they move out of the relationship, there will be no money and they will struggle. And these are the 2 points came in during COVID. So what I did, I changed my coaching from life and leadership to confidence. So I'm more focused on confidence coaching. I thought if these women have confidence, then they can create the life they deserve. Second thing is definitely having a clear vision. When you have a clear vision backed up by a smart goal and worked on every day, created a habit every day to work towards your goal, definitely you're going to be successful. But most importantly, I think sometimes we look at outer world, how we look, our body, our, everything outside, what's going on outside. But outside is not important, it's inside. How we feel, how we see ourselves is really important to build ourselves, our inner strength. And when we have inner strength, whatever happens outside world, it does not break us. More stronger we are inside, the more we are able to achieve our dream, achieve our goal. But also what helped me is being around positive people. And Jim Rohn always say, if you are around 5 positive people, you become the 6th one. But if you are around 5 negative people, you become the 6th negative person. And we've all seen that. We're all experiencing that, how you can change it. Yeah? And most importantly, my last point is always look up to those who's done it before. So important to get a mentor. Don't be scared to invest in yourself the time, the money you need to invest in your success. Because especially when you want to reach somewhere quickly, always get help from somebody who's done it. Because that's the only way you can get there quickly. And you are really important. My last point to all the women, we bring life to this world. Nobody else. We are God gifted. We keep a child inside us for 9 months. Then we give birth. We are special, we are unique. And we're not lesser than men, we are more than men. Because we bring a life to the world. So keep on that, keep focused and go and get your dream. That's for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Carol. I would now like to invite the inaugural speaker, Cherry Dashti. Cherry Dashti is an independent prescriber practitioner and director of Share Cosmetic Company. She has been practicing aesthetic procedures for over 13 years, as well as assessing and counselling individuals. Cherry Dashti has been given the opportunity to educate, encourage, and make people feel better about themselves, both mentally and physically, by applying relevant aesthetic procedures. She believes that everyone deserves to feel better and look their best, regardless of their age. Thank you, Cherry.
Hi all. I'm here to talk about women empowerment at this point. First of all, I'm very happy to be here. I'm very grateful to be part of your group. And it's always said that the world is full of good people. If you can't find one, be one, quoted by Mother Teresa. The woman empowerment is when the woman has the power and authority to make the decision about their lives, and this is happening by providing a woman equal opportunities, development, sources, resources, and training, education, and healthcare, as well as and employment. So therefore, for the society, they can become a better person, better society, equal justice, and also gender equality, and better economic growth, also less poverty in the society, and lots of other benefits that the woman can have and the society can have, therefore. As an individual, there are a lot of problems for a woman, of course, we all know, and a lot of unequal matters. So as an individual, what can we do? Because there's always a problem of confidence and sometimes no one there to help us. So individually, everyone, they can grow themselves, they can improve their confidence, get over their fears. And I just want to explain you about my experience, probably that obviously we're all growing, and it happened to me a few months ago actually, and I'm trying to encourage all of my people around me, my clients, to do the same. And this is one of the ways to boost your confidence and to start to believe on yourself more and more. A few months ago, it happened for me to just think of making a pot out of a clay. This is where I never had any training, any education with the making tray, or I used to paint art long time ago, but that wasn't relevant. Anyway, I just bought a very cheap self-dry clay from Amazon, and I started to make the pot. But at the end, I didn't make the pot. I ended up making a portrait, like a sculpture, which is after that, which is broken. I'm just showing you now. And after that, everybody's saying it's never possible. You couldn't make this out of no training, no education, no, stuff. But it happened. Why? Because I think I started to just flawlessly, without any fear, start to do something that, never mind what's going to happen, what's going to be the result, and done it with my heart, and done it with my great energy, inspiration, and no fear. And that is started to bring the creativity and also grow something inside me that I can do it. And it surprised me as well, myself, and make me to do another one, and I just go on a little bit bigger next time. And I've done this in my imaginary. So I didn't have any model, I didn't have any training, I didn't even have any tools to do this. I've done it with kitchen tools and nail files to just vanish it off. And I found this is inside me, and I never knew it if I wouldn't try it, if I wouldn't have courage to try it. And this can happen to all of us. This is a creativity and art. It could be about the decision making, about the separation, about big decisions, moving, marriage, everything. But you have to be brave and get over your fears and go with the flow, go with your heart. And I'm sure there's something amazing grows inside you, as well as the confidence. We want that little energy, that little light inside you, because this little light would help you to grow better and better, and for your next task, even getting bigger and bigger, and have that faith, and that faith would help you all the way. Like today, that I never had thought I can make it, because it's my first time and it was very short notice, but I just follow my heart and nothing else. Thank you.
It's now time for our morning tea break. So I'd like to invite you to go up to the Saltmarsh study, where you can help yourself to tea and coffee and refreshments. And we're going to be back for 11:20, where we'll start the next session. Thank you very much. Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the break. I would like to invite Professor Dr. Parin Samani, the Director of the London Organisation of Skills Development, to deliver the keynote address. Professor Dr. Parin Samani is a chairperson of the Global Research Conferences, chief editor of the Global Research Journal, independent academic scholar, TEDx speaker, educator, international motivational speaker, author, writer, banker, humanitarian, philanthropist, and multi-national award winner. She has achieved 7 doctorate degrees and has been recognised 5 times in the World Book of Records, twice in the India Book of Records, Asia Book of Records, Karnataka Book of Records, and also in the Golden Book of World Records, with the aim to help global societies in the field of education, women empowerment, and youth development. Professor Dr. Parin Samani has travelled to more than 117 countries around the world and has published more than 41 educational papers, newspaper and magazine articles, 19 books, and featured in more than 100 videos, 177 newspapers and books for her amazing societal contribution. During COVID-19 pandemic, she has helped to educate more than 100,000 people globally through her humanitarian work. Hence, invited to deliver her research at Harvard University and invited governors of different Indian states to discuss challenging issues to help global societies. Professor Dr. Parin Samani will be talking about the impact of COVID-19 on education and inequalities. Thank you.
Once again, good morning again. It's very easy when we are together, but it's very hard when you're not together. So I think we need to make the most of us, be together and be the part of this journey and enjoy beautiful Cambridge. When you guys all went upstairs, I was sorting a few things out and I said, it looks so dark, we need to do something. And when I just took this blinds out, I felt that we need to enjoy the beautiful atmosphere, the environment of Cambridge. That's what we work for, Cambridge, and that's the word. The word is itself is so heavy. So if you look at it, how the education moves around, like Cambridge, Harvard, they are the heavy words. Just to say even, it's like a heavy words, like Oxford. If you're talking about like a UCL, I'm sure everybody knows about the UCL, University College London is #1 in the United Kingdom. King's College, not this King's College. King's College, this is a different for the Cambridge, but we have one of the King's College. So they are one of the renowned universities in the United Kingdom. So today I thought that talking about the impact of COVID-19 on the education, you might have heard in my bio that in the COVID, I was working when people were locked up in the room, and Kumkum, my designer sitting here, she was my designer when I was going for Enigma Mrs. World 2022, and she designed the dress. And I'm sure she's my witness that I used to travel all around the country, and especially in India and different parts of the India where people were scared to leave their house. People were literally locked up in their house, and I was the person traveling for different schools, colleges, universities to preach, to help the students and the faculty members. So if I'm talking about the impact of education, what we were before COVID and what has happened after COVID, that has given a long gaps, and now we are filling the gaps. Like right now we are more like a hybrid, having conferences online, offline. Did we do online before? Because many educationists are sitting here. Did we do online? No, because we only used to believe in offline. But right now, if you can't make it, it's okay. You can still do the conferences. I'm sitting in London, and every single day my programs are running anywhere in the world. They call me as a chief guest, they call me as an inaugurator, some or other way my speeches are there. Why? Because the world has become too small. It's just in your palm. And in this palm, you can carry the whole world, connect with the people, even though you don't know them, you're still together. Okay? So this is my personal code that cultivates self-belief. Cultivates self-belief and confidence, because we all have the ability. We all have that strength to create a positive societal change. Everybody sitting in this room are powerful. But your soul is even more powerful. Why? Because you have made a decision of coming here because you want to help others. My aim of my keynote speech is, and I'm very proud that today I'm a part of King's College, Cambridge, where I can be a keynote speaker. That has given me a lot of privilege, that yes, I can help and support and inspire them. So my aim is to build the sustainability after COVID-19, where we have all gone through a lot of challenges and still we are facing. Look at the economy is gone so high, each and everything. The rapid change in the political, social system where we want to help, and this pandemic has given a lot of changes in our personal life, health inequalities, education, gender, unemployment, and poverty level. So we want to bring it up and we want to help. So education is a vital part in our life, and without education we can't survive. And I think that is going to help us, that is going to support us how we want to be a part of the larger society. So basic human rights, every human rights has got a potential to be part of learning, and our life is a lifelong learning. Education can overcome challenges. Because of education, we are here. What we are, not because we want to be here, because what we have learned in the past, that has connected us to be the part of GRC. So apply knowledge to the education, novel scientists, discoveries, and health-related medicinal things which we are able to cure ourselves in a medical way, but also in Ayurveda, because I promote Ayurveda because I have been inspired, because since my health issues, my health challenges have helped me, that Ayurveda is a part of your day-to-day life. So if we talk about the education and gender equality, that education cultivates an understanding and tolerance. If you see an educated person and uneducated, you will literally see the difference in them. The mannerism, the way they talk, the way they behave with the people, the way they interact, and the way they connect and tell what to do and what not to do. So from there you can literally identify yourself. So it is harnessing peace and unity, brings the society together with the education and reduce inequalities, eradicate the misconception. So sometimes, like we want to do something but we can't do it because there is a gap and we want to fill that gap. But how do we fill it up? Through the education what we are learning. It's a lifelong learning, and that will help us to support us. If we talk about the gender equalities, still there are a lot of gaps. Even though you go to anywhere in the world, still you will see the men are better than the women. I'm saying no, we are the same like them. I'm not saying we are better than them. I don't want to make a statement that, but I want to say we have the equal rights what they have, and we can do the same thing. Even for us, that as a woman, we have empowered our family, our children, our society, and plus we are a working mother. What does the man do? If you look at the balance, we are more. We do more and we are put down. So that is not accepted. And I'm very sure that gentlemen sitting here, I'm very sure you'll agree that. And I'm very happy when I see the beautiful couple there. Honestly, it makes me feel proud that yes, you need a man like that who can help and who can inspire the other women. So gender equality is the fundamental human rights, form a vital foundation for a peaceful and a sustainable world. Progression for more females acquire education through attending school, colleges, diploma courses, and help them. So let's force early marriages, especially in England. Living here, there are early marriages happening here. Trust me, it's not just happening in India. Am I right, Dr. Parul? Here there is happening the early. You know what they do? They are making the family come together. They just get the children married, and the girls are suffering. They are coming from back home, from Pakistan, from India, from small places, Africa, and really they are going through a tough time. It's not just in a third world country it's happening. It's happening in England, and I'm a witness for it. And Dr. Parul is also the witness for this. Why? Because we have seen the early marriages because uneducation. They are not educated. So we need to bring it up in a way that can help our children. More females being appointed in the leadership. Now you can see there are so many women, and especially it gives me a very proud moment to say I'm coming from originally from India, and it gives me very happy that our President Murmu, she is from a tribe. And she is the President of India. That is a very proud moment for me to share with you. Why? Because of the women leadership. So we are the leader of our own, but we need some little push from the man. Okay. Advanced gender equality will really help us too. And regardless of where you live, gender equality is a fundamental human right. Advancing gender equality is critical to all areas of healthy society, from reducing poverty to promoting the health, education, protection, and the well-being of girls and boys. So this is my wake-up call. Okay, so if I feel it's my wake-up call, it may be your tomorrow. Who knows about it? So as I've been traveling 117 countries, not just for that, but because I had the health challenges which I was facing, few of them are aware of it, and that challenges have made me travel to see the world. I was initially seeing the world, nothing more than that, but then later on I started conducting myself for motivating the lectures. Let me tell you a little brief story. I don't know how much time have I got, but I'm sure I have got some time. Am I right?
You've got all the time at the conference.
Yeah, 10 minutes? I have got all the time, but what about my beautiful souls here? I can't take all the time from you.
Give it to you.
Oh, thank you. So when I lost my eyes in 2010, I became blind. I lost my eyes. There's a big story. So if you just Google my name, Parin Sumani, you can see that. And 2001, my little one who is taking my video right now, she was only 15 months when I lost my eyes. And 2001, they found out I got an ameloblastoma. So my half of my face is been reconstructed. I got an ameloblastoma, which is a cancer which only stays in the face and moves around there. So I have come out of that in 2010. This was my second attack of the cancer, which was the last stage, and I was survived only because the love and affection of the people. It's the Supreme who has given me that power, a Supreme that has helped me to connect with you, because I was supposed to meet you. That's why I'm here.
Amen.
Yeah, that's the reason I'm here with you. So that's why I started traveling. Even in the COVID-19, I never felt the flights were completely empty. And the tickets I was getting it really cheap, like at 10 pounds and 12 pounds. And now these tickets have gone up to 100 pounds. Same tickets I'm paying now. The hotels, like a 5-star hotels, I cannot believe I was paying like 15 pounds, only 15 pounds in a 5-star hotel. For me and my daughter were sharing the room. Breakfast, lunch and dinner. Because the hotels were empty, then nobody was there, just a person like me. And the doctors and the nurses were coming in that, because for the COVID checks and everything, they were staying in the hotel. So that has made me inspired to work and help others. So this is all my work. You can see I've been traveling to the small villages, small places, And this is a place where I was visiting the hospital, the little children, the orphanage school. This is Don Bosco. I'm sure people might know Don Bosco, yeah? That's a Don Bosco school. This is one of the university. I was in Ganpat University putting the hats on where the university children were there. We all have to wear the mask because of at that time everybody were wearing. This is the beautiful young girls. I met them and they were going on a trip and they invited me and I was part of them. This is the place where we are building a school in Jharkhand, in one of the part of Gujarat, in one of the part of India. Next, please. I had opportunity to meet many governors of India. The one who is there, he is the governor of Rajasthan, Kalraj Mishra. The people of India, they'll know he's a Kalraj Mishra, is a big governor from Rajasthan. The bottom one, the governor is sitting, he is from Arunachal Pradesh. It's a beautiful place to visit. That's the governor meeting I had. This is a world record when I was invited in a world record book. And it was a very happiness that was my third or fourth world record where I was there. So it was a very humble and kind, only because people like you are connected to me. See, when I met a couple of people this morning, you know what I heard from them, the feedback? Thank you. When I heard from the feedback, I was told the group is really nice. They are very energetic and they're very positive. See, the people come and tell me. Why? I told her I'm always connected to the positive people. Yeah, the vibes which you have, you connect with those people. So my experience, the education is vital, contributes to the societal in your way, for the betterment. You don't have to do which you can't do it. Do in your own capacity. Do whatever you can do, but do something which can help you. Ensure the sustainability is there. Provides educated solutions to challenges. Currently, financial stability is not there anywhere in the world. Look at the political situation. Look at all the things we are hearing from the companies, the banks, and this shop is closing, this company is closed down. A lot of things we are hearing because there is no financial sustainability. So we are the leaders and we want to do that. Only we can do it by working together, coming and helping in these conferences like that. Doesn't matter, you are here today, tomorrow you may be in different conferences, it's okay. But you will remember the people you are connected, connect with them. Be the part of each other's life. And you, when you are connecting, when you are gelling with others, things can go smoothly. We are in a technological era, using education, but remember, we are a social animal too. Even though we live in a technological era, but our minds are very computerized. We only know what we want to do. Artificial intelligence has taken over from us because look at us. We don't need. This is our Google. This is our new mother who talks about everything. If you don't know anything, just go on Google, find it, and you'll know everything. So, for example, I think so. My daughter said, "I have got this pain." I said, "Mommy, what do I do?" I said, "Go and look for the new mother. Google will tell you everything." So now, the digital inequalities and gender inequalities, these are the negative mental health impacts. So I think we want to stay away from that, and we want to make sure the lockdown measures has given isolation, loneliness, and we are coming out of it. And I'm so grateful that you have made a decision of coming out of your country, because there are so many different countries are here. Different states and countries are coming here from different parts of the world. This has given you opportunity to mingle and take that mental health issues from your side and helping others too. So if I give you the approximately 83% of the students are experiencing exacerbated pre-existing mental health issues. This is from the Young Minds 2020. I've taken the research on that. Rise in the mental health issues in the students without pre-existing problem is by 25% and impact on the future students' education and society. So burdens on the public health services, rising negative mental health implication. So the solution I can give you is a need for the implementation of the practical solution. Help to facilitate societal globally. Take the steps towards a positive sustainable growth, and when you have got that thing in your mind, trust me, you can win the world and you can be on a success ladder. So higher education institutions are recommended to build a community that responds to need of the diverse students population. Nation must work together ensuring policy documents, policy development and continuous refinements of legislation, teaching pedagogies reflecting modification in curriculum. I remember the curriculums not every time is changed, but there are a lot of curriculums have been changed in Western world, and same goes to the Eastern world too. So my recommendation for the higher education institution, invest sufficient technology tools, hardware and software. Stable and fast internet connectivity is very important in this day and age. We are sitting here, but we can connect to anywhere in the world, doesn't matter where they are. You can work from home and you can do everything what you want to do. So reduce the digital inequalities, improve teaching pedagogies and administrative systems, invest appropriate time without wasting resources on the training. A recommendation, technology is an important facet of education. Use the tool to provide education, improve efficiency. Society must change negative practices, and that will only happen if we are ready to accept it. So my focus is on the women empowerment, education, youth development and advocate of lifelong learning. And when I say lifelong learning, we all should be part of the lifelong learning. London Organization of Skill Development gives plenty of courses. Just go on the website and have a look and be the part of it, because I'm a person, I don't want to be myself. I like to carry everyone with me. And let's be, because end of the day, I'm not going to be there too long. I want to leave the legacy, and I want you to take over for the work which I'm doing, and we should be the part and do together. In this pandemic, the world is upside down. We have faced many challenges, but how we can overcome it? I've got 3 messages to give you. Number 1, believe in yourself. When you believe in yourself, the world will believe you. Remember, Rome wasn't built in a day. It took years to build a beautiful city of Rome. Number 2, be honest, be ethical, don't cheat anyone. If you can't do anything, it's okay. Tell them to their face, you can't do it. They might not like it. I'll tell you honestly. If you tell them, they may not like it. I remember one of the person from here asked me, I want to do a clinical research. And I said, I'm sorry, I can't do it. I want to be honest to the person. I don't want to say, oh yeah, you come to the conference, we'll look into that. No. I can't do it, because I don't have any access. So you have to be honest and truthful to the people. And when you're truthful, it will be long-term relation with you. And number 3, build the bridges between the societies, between the global world, wherever you are. And start with your family and friends. This is my website, drparinsomani@gmail.com. That's my number. And please connect with me. I'm always there to help you. Thank you so much for coming once again. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Dr. Parin-Somani. We will now commence session 1. I would like to invite Martha Davidson. Martha Davidson is the founder of Empowering Minds Now, where her mission is to empower corporate leaders using neuroscience leadership practices and inspiring mid-level managers, specifically in the STEM profession, to accelerate their desire to own a seat in the executive suite, utilizing neuroscientific leadership strategies. Currently, less than 5% of African American women in STEM rise to senior leadership, and less than 25% in technology overall are in leadership positions. She is certified in neuroscience coaching and leadership, specializing in unconscious bias, corporate leadership consultancy, and a speaker focusing on advocacy for women in technology. She is an international speaker and author, that is passionate in empowering others to amplify their purpose and superpowers with the brain in mind. She has over 25 years in cybersecurity and as a global leader and influencer for Fortune 100 companies in the United States, the Royal Bank of Scotland, and BCD Travel. Her mission is to empower 100,000 women, to empower women in technology professions to thrive in 2024. She is a Google Woman Tech Maker, Global Ambassador, and DEI advocate, Truist Women in Tech. Martha Davidson is going to be talking about sustaining organizational and social engagement post-pandemic in diverse work environments with neuro leadership. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Fanning, for inviting me. And I'm here today to really merge two things, and that's my story and the world needs to understand that the sustainability of our social engagements. We are social beings. And being social beings, what does that mean? We have a desire to connect. We have a desire to want to belong in this world. But often what happens is when we engage, people don't engage with us. They are not authentic. They're not listening. And they don't really understand the value of communicating effectively with one another. Why do I know that? Because I am a miracle child. My mom, in the birthing process, she transitioned, and I ended up in an incubator and spent my first 6 years of my life in 6 foster homes before I actually was adopted. During that period, social engagement, we know from neuroscience studies that it begins when you're a child. That birthing process, that bonding process, I did not have. So I found myself really, and what is really true is your brain is wired that way. So what happened with me, I knew something was wrong. I couldn't figure out what it was, but I felt that I didn't belong. I was feeling rejected, discontented, and didn't know what was going on. As a result of that, I ended up with what they call selective mutism. And what that is I couldn't talk. And what happens? Who's gonna adopt a child who cannot talk? Who's gonna wanna spend time and teach a child how to be effective communicators and to do what they need to do? Well, my earth angel showed up at the age of 6. She took me in. She taught me how to talk. And she used to tell me, this is what you have to do with your tongue. This is what you have to do with this, that, the other. I'm like, about just before she transitioned, I said, Mom, did you teach me how to talk and how to roll my tongue? And she said, yeah, honey, because nobody knew what you were saying, but I fixed that real quick. And because of that, she continued to pour into me. She continued when I was in the 5th grade. I was sharing this yesterday. Teachers used to come to the house. And the teacher came to the house and had this conversation with my mother. And I'm sitting right there, and this teacher is talking to my mom. So again, 5th grade, shouldn't be listening, but I wanted to know what was actually being said. And as he walked out the door, he told my mother, I don't know why you think she could be anything. She belongs in special ed. And my mother walked him to the door. She never said anything about that conversation. 2 weeks later, she came home with dry beans. And she got on the floor with me, and she taught me math. And then she walked me to the library. And when she walked me to the library, I had 2 assignments. I had to do 2 books. I had to read and do an oral and a written. As a result of that, by the time I got in the 8th grade, I was in honor roll society or whatever they used to call it back in those days. And what that was because as social beings, we need that communication. We need that confirmation. We need that love in order for us to progress in whatever we do in life. And so what happens when we're in corporate America, we don't have that same connection. A lot of times we, especially with COVID, we ended up being isolated. We ended up being disconnected. And so we didn't really have that bond of collaboration. So what I wanted to talk about was the importance that we are social beings, and the importance that as we go through corporate America, that we can survive all of our challenges. I'm personally a witness to that because I was able to survive those challenges. But what we haven't realized is that it's not a PowerPoint. It's not an online training that you take. It's about nurturing. It's about culturally developing individuals who are leaders, who are managers, how to speak in a way that you feel like you're wanted, that you feel like you're connected. And so I wanted to talk about some of the challenges that we have is corporate America hasn't realized that. So what happens, we get distressed, we feel like we're not wanted, we can't move forward. So we find ourselves stagnant as women. And so I am on a mission to change that. Because what's inside of you is what propels you, not what's outside of you. And when we learn to embrace our inner worth, when we learn to embrace who we are, confidence will show up. I was talking to someone yesterday, your gifts make room for you. And you make room for your gifts. And so it's important for us to know that no matter what your struggles are, no matter what's happened to you, you are in control. And when you're in control, what happens? You're able to see things that you couldn't see. I was sharing that I went to college. My mother got me in Howard University. I did not apply. I was like, Mom, why am I going here? But she said, don't care. She got me in the university. I studied sociology because I wanted to make a difference in the world. I spent over 30 years in cybersecurity. How did that happen? Your gifts make room for you. And as a result of that, when I wanted to get into the whole social realm, God had a different plan. I was able to go into the corporate arena, and as a result of that, I found my gift. My gift was root cause analysis. I have traveled the world teaching and training people because I allowed my gift to make room for me, to be a light for others. And I would like to say that we all have talked about the same topic around women empowerment and about confidence. So as we go through whatever our gifts are, that we remember that others need that encouragement. Others need to know that they belong. Others need to understand the importance of allowing your true, authentic self to show up, allowing your gifts to show up and make a difference in the world. So actually, this whole presentation, when we looked at it, it didn't look right? So I had to speak from my heart. I needed to speak and let people know that as we go out and do our daily jobs, is whatever our gifts are, is that we remember that we are empowering women to take control. We've seen statistics that say that they are not in control. We have a statistic that shows that only 5% or less of African American women ever make it to the C-suite. But yet statistics also show that 40% want to be in the C-suite. What's the difference? We have to make room for our gifts. So we have to show them how to live with inside, get tapped into your innovation, get tapped into your intuition, your inspiration, get tapped into being a motivator for others so that they can grow. And so that's what I do. I train individuals and I mentor individuals and letting them tap into their gifts. And as you do whatever you do, remember to support And remember to know that women have the possibility. In the last statistic I read, women who are leaders in organization have more success than a male-generated environment. So it's important for us to recognize that we have gifts, we are born with gifts, and that we know that when we trust in our gifts, we can thrive and flourish in 2024.
Thank you, Martha Davidson. Okay, I would now like to invite Dr. Angelica Wagner to the front. As founder of the Grace Center for Healing, Dr. Angelica Wagner has been a pioneer and global leader in creating profound life transformations of traumatic brain injury patients since 2009. When she almost lost her own vision due to traumatic brain injury, Dr. Wagner incorporates cutting-edge non-drug brain techniques utilizing Hertz frequencies of light, sound, orthomolecular nutrition, and essential oils to regenerate the brain. She holds a Diploma Award in Addictionology as a Doctor of Integrative Medicine, Body Talk Parama practitioner, Eastern Medicine practitioner, and Access Consciousness facilitator. Dr. Wagner has been awarded the top global neuroscientist in the world and is a top 100 global global doctor. Angelica is the author of 5 books, including the best-selling series Are You Ready for a Miracle? And Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. Dr. Wagner has transformed lives in environments of schools, with veterans, with athletes, with the handicapped, in corporations, and in populations of incarcerated institutions. She has dedicated her life to healing, teaching, and speaking on international stages to inspire, empower, and educate for the highest potential of society struggling with the invisible wounds of mental health. Dr. Angelica Wagner is talking about the pharmacology and neurobiology of addiction in Japan. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Power and Salam, for inviting me, for all the esteemed speakers, and it's been just my delight and an honor to meet so many esteemed speakers and women so powerful in your field. So although it says the pharmacology and neurobiology of addiction in Japan, the thing that I realized when I gave this speech and topic was that not just individuals have addiction problems, but countries have addiction problems. And the addiction that happens in the country is as a result of the trauma of the country. So as this develops, you will understand that these two things are particularly linked. All right, so what are the 6 trends of addiction in Japan? Well, there's methamphetamines, there's benzodiazepines, dapu herb, and marijuana. Internet addiction, which is becoming a global addiction post-pandemic, alcohol addiction, of course, and then childhood suicide. And I'm going to talk briefly about most of these things. So what happened in Japan? Well, the national trauma of domestic war. Addiction is caused by an individual's inability to be present in their life. So I would like you to look at my talk as sort of an unveiling of and non-judgment of how do people fall into this thing called addiction? How do people suddenly become addiction? Well, in every case, it was as a result of trauma. In every case, it was as a result of childhood trauma. Can we continue to live in this trauma and not be addicted? Well, let's just see what happens. So here in Japan particularly, it was the loss of work. In COVID, it was the loss of loved ones. In COVID, it was our loss of freedom, our loss of travel. It was shame, stigma, isolation as a result of a country where in Japan, even your family can take you to the police for having an addiction. And Japan, being such a proactive country with wanting to produce and wanting to be economically sound, the drug dealers come out depending on what the addiction is needed of the day. So please understand that. There's as much as we are being bombarded right now with so much light frequencies and so many amazing things that are happening to planet Earth, we also have this underbelly of darkness which we have to be aware of. So people caught in addiction have nowhere to turn in their families. The culture of Japan demands a very strict work ethic. And in order to maintain the balance of that work ethic, they had to do something radical, which was, in Japan's case, methamphetamines. So, yes, so in the UK and in various parts of Europe, it's not about addiction with methamphetamines. In the UK, it's primarily addiction with alcohol, but these statistics are related to mental health just even in countries. So how did I get here? How do I get from being a single mom, raising 4 children by myself, educating them all through university, paying for their education? How do I get to this place of neurobiology? Martha, you had your own story. I have my own story also. I was called to be a doctor when I was 8 years old, but because of my family culture, it was I wanted to be a neuroscientist. Well, how do you get there with no drugs and no scalpel? In my family, it was no drugs, no scalpel. How do I become a scientist? How do I become globally known when those are my values? Well, in 1995, I studied with, go ahead next. I studied with 2 genius men who had just discovered the brain reward cascade. And one of them was Dr. Jay Holder, the other one was Dr. Kenneth Blum. There were over 330,000 articles written on the brain reward cascade. And I'm going to teach you some neurobiology today, I hope that's okay, and also some pharmacology. So what happens in the cycle of addiction? Craving leads to loss of control, an increased amount of use, compulsion to use as a habit, and despite the negative consequences. So why people say, well, you should just be able to stop. No. They can't stop. Their brain's been hijacked. How has the brain been hijacked? Well, I'll unfold it to you. So drug definitions. So there are 3 basic types of drugs, just so you know. There are stimulants that speed up the body, there are depressants that depress the brain, and there are hallucinogens which completely change and alter the senses. Oh, I'm sorry, you can't see that. So on the right-hand side, it should say methamphetamine and then benzodiazepines and then coke, meth, benzodiazepines, and marijuana. So in cocaine, what is cocaine? Well, it's 1 molecule different than a benzodiazepine. Who's given benzodiazepines? Our children. We have 59% of the world's population of children are given antidepressants. Don't be blaming the 6-year-old who by the time they get to be 16 and the brain is saying, gimme, 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 I want more, when that brain has been on some benzodiazepine, antidepressant, ADHD medication from the time they are 6 years old. Do not be blaming the child who is suddenly saying, they've got some cocaine. Let's try. don't come from judgment. Understand what's happening to the genius of our youth. Understand where we have to be as leaders in this economic society to sustain our children and to sustain their genius. So, you can see now here what is a healthy brain. You see at the back of the brain, it's got a few red spots and there's a little yellow spot at the front. Well, children have between 1,000 and 10,000 bumps to the head, falls, whatever. Well, every time you do that, a little part of the neurobiology is injured. So you see by the second brain there where it says high risk, you see there it kind of looks like a swath of red and orange and yellow, kind of a swath there. Well, that would be a brain of maybe a soccer player who has had a foot on the side of the head or a ball on the side of the head. Or maybe that would be someone who played baseball and a bat got in his way. You see at the front there's some blue dots there, some blue cold parts. Wherever the brain is either too hot or too cold, especially too cold, that is the part where the brain will die. Do you see on the far left-hand side, far right-hand side there, your right-hand side, it says schizophrenia. It's not about schizophrenia. It's about serious brain damage. So that brain at the prefrontal lobe is completely wiped out with its red brain damage. Meth in Japan. Meth was needed as a stimulant for people to get their way out of the trauma of war. Where are we now? We are in the trauma, thank you, Dr. Martha, we are in the trauma of isolation post-COVID. Where are we now? What stimulants do we need now to get our society back working again, communicating again, interacting again? 80% of everyone arrested in Japan is arrested as a result of meth stimulation addiction. So what's this plant? Looks like an ordinary plant, right? All medicine comes from the earth, should be pretty good. Well, it's cannabis. In Canada, cannabis is legal. Cannabis is the only drug that I cannot reverse. I'm the global researcher who has found the permanent end to addiction. So I'm the only person in the world at present, until we get our college, who can write a lifetime guarantee of no relapse in addiction. And how I did that was I took 100 people out of Los Angeles prison and rehabilitated them. Like they were in jail, then in the halfway house, and I worked with them for a period in those days it took 90 days. Today, after 30 days, I can guarantee that brain will never relapse again. It doesn't have the capacity. Why? And people don't even have to have the will for it. I will just do a little magic on the ear points that I discovered, and that's what happens. So this is cannabis. Go ahead, next slide. So the effects in Japan, what they did with cannabis was because they didn't just use regular grown cannabis, but they used an herb called dapu herb on top of the synthetic cannabis. Well, you have synthetic cannabis, and I have seen that when I was living in the United States. Synthetic cannabis can never be reversed. You put a synthetic drug into a brain, you cannot reverse it, not ever. Meth, cocaine, heroin, opioids, alcohol, give me any one of those, I can reverse it forever. Anything synthetic, don't touch. Anything cannabis, don't touch. Why? Too many additives. So when I was working with this in California, there were 20 kids a month dying of drug overdose in Orange County. No, we don't have a problem here. There were 20 or 25 veterans dropping dead every day at Camp Pendleton. No, we don't have a problem here. What has now happened to our society because of isolation, because of being alone, because of being deprived of each other's company. What has happened? So, interestingly enough, the DAPU drug users, and it can't be discovered. So meth, cocaine, heroin, and opioid in Japan, you can be put in jail for, but DAPU drug, which will kill your brain forever, no one can recognize because of the herbs in it. All right, how does the brain talk? Well, norepinephrine, dopamine, and serotonin. So those are the three chemicals that run around the brain. And when they say dopamine, and people say, oh, I'm dope. Well, you're dope because it's cool, right? And everyone needs dopamine in their brain to make them happy. So with some people it's food, with some people it's coffee, whatever it is. So this is Richard. He is one of the 100 people that I took out of Los Angeles prison. And you don't need to do the slide, the video, but some of you can go to my YouTube channel. I have 35 people stayed for 90 days, and those people's videos are included on my YouTube channel. So Richard, 28 years in prison. Prison was his home. What is the common denominator of people who use drugs? They have no roots. They have no family. They are sensitive. They are seen as outside of the family. They don't fit in. What's happening to our youth today? Our youth, our genius youth, are starseeds. They're sensitive. They're sensitive to food. They're sensitive to smell. They're sensitive to energy. You walk into a room, you feel something. Richard was particularly sensitive because his father was very wealthy. And he was outcast from the father. He just wanted to be rich. So he became a meth dealer, and he decided, and he was an absolutely genius of a guy. 28 years in prison, 5 incarceration numbers. 40 years, meth, cocaine, heroin, PCP. Totally wanted to destroy himself and kill himself. 50 years, nicotine. After 90 days, never again. Never touched it, never went back. And actually, I had not seen this video for a very long time. And when I saw it, I cried, because he said exactly what needs to happen and what needs to happen to all of us, which is a transformation of the self, which is what Martha discussed and what Dr. Powern has discussed. It's a transformation from who you are to who you are meant to be in the world. Oh, okay, I want to get through a couple, go through 2 or 3 more. No, go through. So I want to show you this because in the nose are the epithelial cells, and that's where when people inhale cocaine. But you see where those yellow epithelial cells are? That's also where the baby brain stem cells of your brain are. And so as you grow new brain cells, they're there. Well, let's click through it. This is the limbic system I discovered one day when I was upside down on my mat, how to stimulate the HP axis and the axis working together to help the neurons fire together actually changes and rewires the brain. So this is Lafayette's story. He was, go ahead again. He was a meth addict. No. We just want to click through it. Thank you. So do you see there beside at the front, there's the olfactory bulb, then the frontal lobe. Well, the frontal lobe is your executive cortex. Behind that is the motor cortex and the somasensory cortex and the parietal lobe. Those 3 cortexes working together get you to either move or not move. If you have damage to those 3 cortexes in your brain, you will not be able to move very well. That's what happens with drug use. At the very back is the occipital lobe, which I damaged when I hit the back of my head and almost lost my vision in 2009, which when I said to God, okay, what do you want me to do? And it was, be a doctor, I told you so. So this is the brain-blood barrier. Again, shows you where the different blood barriers go. Keep going. there's a happy brain. There was never a drug that helped a brain. There was never a drug that healed a brain. Go ahead. So this is a neuronal breakdown with alcohol. And when people say, oh, I'm so frazzled, a couple of you earlier were saying, I'm so frazzled. Well, we have specific points that we can touch on the brain which help all of that come down. Keep going. That's what it looks like in your brain when you're frazzled. So in Japan, they have alcohol vending machines because alcoholism is not considered an addiction. Alcohol is considered bonding with the client in order to make more money. And in alcohol, keep going, in alcohol, sometimes executives are drunk in the street. Yeah, keep going. So I'm sorry you can't see that, but 59% of global children are on antidepressants. Next. This is Brooke. Brooke changed my life. Brooke came into my office as a 12-year-old who had tried to commit suicide 4 times. In the process of committing suicide, because some well-known, well-meaning psychiatrist had put her on Prozac at age of 8. By the time she was 12 years old, she was taking whole bottles of Prozac to kill herself because of what had happened to changes in her brain. Next. This young girl changed my life forever. When she walked in, I said, Brooke, can I help you? How can I help you? She said, Dr. Angelica, can you help me? And this one sentence changed my life forever. She said, Dr. Angelica, help me to kill myself. Changed my life forever. And this is Brooke today. She's 18 years old. Go ahead. She's top of her class. She has, all of those are behind. But the next pandemic, thank you. The next pandemic, thank you so much. The next pandemic is suicidal ideation of our youth. Okay. So what's the price of addiction? In Europe, it's 700 billion. In the UK, it's 100 billion. Why do we keep feeding our kids drugs? Keep going. So the human body resonates at 62 to 78%. Anyone who has ever known anyone to have cancer, when the body drops to 42 megahertz then a body will have cancer. Some of you have been smelling my beautiful essential oils that come at very, very high resonance and very high frequency. And there's me with Dr. Holder. 10 years ago, it was my goal to get to Cambridge University someday, and here we are. And this device is what I use as in Hertz frequency to change the axis of the brain. And this is what's happening, a new wave of suicidal ideation, depressions, opioid use in kids under 12. Suicide is the 3rd leading cause of death in children 10 to 13. Can you hear me, please? This is my absolute passionate, it must be changed. We need armies of people to help change. So there's Dr. Holder who discovered the parasympathetic and limbic points using that device. I discovered the cranial nerves and reversal of addiction points. So these are, besides the device that I use, and I also use a light device, which is 40 hertz, these are monoterpenes which reprogram the miswritten information in cellular memory. What are they? They're essential oils. You'll notice their second one there says Angelica. I was once a weed in the side of the road. So, and all of those essential oils that are pure help to change the brain. Not in hours, but in seconds, 20 seconds into the brain, into the prefrontal cortex, and 20 minutes to be absorbed into the brain. These are the 5 oils that I use to help to change the heart, because everyone who has an addiction also has heart failure. This is a sesquiterpene which deprogram wrong information from cellular memory stored in the DNA. So if you hear women who are rushing out with this DNA or that DNA and have surgery with that, advise them that their DNA can be reprogrammed and rewritten with specific sesquiterpenes, which are pure essential oils. So at Grace Center for Healing, we have 87 to 95% success rate. Thank you. I'm the only, as I said, our clinic is the only clinic in the world that can guarantee non-relapse for the rest of your life. And when I was speaking on women's empowerment in Paris, France, we had not 32 media outlets, we had 320 media outlets. So understand that I have some very high up friends in media who will help our conference get some international acclaim. And it was my request to create a collaboration with an accredited university. It can be one in the UK, it can be one it can be in the United States, it can be in India, wherever you would like to have me, I would love to come. And again, this is my business plan to create the International College of Addiction and Compulsive Disorder, because although Dr. Holder is a very brilliant man, he's now ready to retire, and he says, I know things that he doesn't know. So I'm Angelica Wagner. I'm the blonde woman scientist who discovered the permanent end to addiction. Yeah, thank you very much. Yes.
For you. So in terms of the essential oils,
Yes.
what brand?
I only use Young Living brand, and because they have farms. So I don't use any other brands because you need to know that they are pure. When you go to Holland & Barrett or somewhere like that in the UK, then you know that it says pure on the bottle. It only requires 3 drops to be pure. And I'm not going to name the competition because I won't dishonor myself with that. Gary D. Young was absolutely a genius and created many combinations of oils which stimulate the brain. Many of you have had my pure Northern Lights, my Northern Lights, which is the highest vibrational frequency at 680. Rose oil. That whole, the study of the essential oils is another whole degree, just like Ayurveda also. So, yeah, Young Living oils only. And you can talk to me about that after the conference. Any other questions? All right, thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Angelica Wagner. I would now like to invite Aparna Moore to the front. Aparna Moore has a degree in software engineering, and she is passionate about she is a passionate international yoga therapist by profession. With 8 years of experience, Aparna Moore has been living and teaching yoga. She lives with the staunch belief that I am enough to make this place a better one. The purpose of her life is to spread the beauty and magic of yoga at national and international levels. Aparna Moore has a diploma in yoga education and a teacher's training certification from the World Yoga Alliance. She contributes her efforts into helping people towards taking their longest journey, which is the journey inwards through yoga. Aparna Moore is specialised in rekindling hope in cancer survivors, people with disabilities, and helping people to start living their lives again. She does this by helping these souls to connect with themselves. Aparna Moore is a recipient of the Best Yoga Therapist 2022 and an Indian Icon Women Personality 2019 from Western India region for her contribution to the field of yoga. Aparna Moore is talking about yoga, a need of today and assurance of tomorrow.
Namaste everyone. Namaste. Yes. The reason I'm doing this namaste, it's because our right hand represents the left hemisphere of our brain and our left hand represents the right hemisphere of our brain. And when we do namaste, we are actually activating both the hemispheres of the brain. Okay. And thank you, your diagram on the brain. It really now, we can just get that image in the mind and see how it works. Okay, so God gave us fingerprints which no one has. so that we can create an impression which no one does. And thank you, Dr. Pareen ma'am and GRC, for giving us, all of us, this opportunity wherein we as an individual can create an imprint, and when we are together, we work towards the better and positive society. Okay, before I start my session, a small activity. Okay, you just be comfortable, you did not stand up, but I just want you to do these things. Okay, I want a victory sign with one hand and this sign. Okay, this one. Now, okay, change. Victory sign with one, and this we say you're looking nice, right? Change. It's not easy, right? Change. 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 Okay, thank you. Okay, now, yes, thanks. My purpose or intent of getting this done from you all is, you would have noticed when you are doing this, you are completely thoughtless. Yeah? And what a lovely feeling it is, right? We are always so crowded with n number of thoughts. But this few seconds, you forget everything and you are with yourself, and there's a nice brain and mind coordination activity that is happening. Okay, and that's what yoga is all about. Okay, I've written over here, it's a need of today. I want to correct it. It was a need of yesterday actually, but it's an assurance for tomorrow. Okay. Now, definition of yoga. Okay, it comes from a Sanskrit word which is yuj, and it means to join two things together. Now, for joining things, you need to have two things, and when you join them, there's a oneness that is created. And what yoga does is, it actually brings that oneness, or the connection is between mind and body, and that's what yoga actually does. Now, the approach is very simple. Okay, if your mind is happy, it's in your control, your body functions very efficiently. However, if there are n number of thoughts, or you are into some kind of negativity, you will feel the same being reflected on your physical and also on your mental and internal state. Please remember, any disease first comes internally and then it is reflected on the outer thing. So it's such an important thing to take care of your internal well-being. Yes, and we can't scrub our internal organs, we can't scrub our tissues, and that's what yoga does.
Yes.
Right?
It does.
Thank you. Yeah, so it's basically the awakening of self. If you see what is yoga, it's an approach to take the longest and the most important journey. And what's that journey? It's journey inwards. Okay, we move on. Okay, now when I'm saying the union, it's the union of body and mind. Okay, it's not that how much I'm flexible that I can touch my toes to the ground, or if I can get into a headstand or handstand. Absolutely not. Yoga is absolutely not about that. It's being how much self-controlled you are. Okay, and as we have been talking since yesterday, we have been interacting with each other. We feel that kind of energy, that positivity, that vibrations. What does it mean? It means we all are connected, right? We all are connected, but we don't sense it. We always take it ourselves as an individual. Okay, let me ask you to do one more activity with me, and I'm sorry if I'm making you do it, but it's all fun, so please be relaxed. Okay, I want you to take your arms in front with the fingers pointing here. Okay, now from here, I want you to close your nose. Okay, can I see everyone doing it? Thank you. Now, if you have done exactly the same way what I have done, you will be able to do this. Very nice, very nice. So that means you are in the present. You are not just doing what I am telling you to do, or you didn't presume what I asked you to do, but you did exactly what you did. That's what is yoga. Okay, and that's what shows we all are connected. Okay, yes. And now, yes, just sorry. Again, I want you to read the what is yoga. It's a journey of decoding yourself.
Yes.
The way you decode yourself,
Yes.
that's what yoga is all
Absolutely.
about. Okay?
Absolutely.
Yes. Now let's move on to the next slide. Okay, these are just some bookish definitions, but I thought it will be good to bring it out. Patanjali, who is known as the father of yoga, he basically defines yoga as restriction of the fluctuations of mind. So basically yoga acts as a suppressant. Okay, it's not that when you are happy, you would have seen when you are happy or in a positive situation, you are in totally relaxed and pleasurable state. But any negative thing happens, you get into that gloomy, sad face state of mind. But when you keep on doing yoga and also pranayam, which is the breathing activity, it actually helps you to take any situation in equanimous manner. Okay, that's what it's the timeless science of the self, and it takes you into the present moment where our life exists. It's not yesterday, it's not tomorrow, it's here where our life exists. Okay, we move on to next, please. Okay, now I'm just going to talk about few postures and asanas. Now there are certain postures and asanas which are very common in yoga, and most of the other asanas are actually based on this postures which I will be talking about. Okay, and also I want to tell you, when we are doing these asanas, it actually fits the metaphors for life, and I will take you through it as to which metaphor of life when I tell you to do any particular asana. The first one is stretching. Now as a child we were very super mobile, super flexible, but as we started growing up we lost that flexibility, and the reason is we don't stretch enough. Okay, so now is the good time to stretch. So I want you to take your arms up, completely pull yourself up nicely. You should feel the opening of your entire upper body. It's not just you are taking your arms up. Feel a nice opening of the lungs, which helps to open up the congestion. Okay, just be here. 3, 2, 1. Come on, take it to the side. Open up your sides. Come on. 3, 2, 1. Oh. Inhale, exhale. Other side. Come on. 3, 2, 1. Inhale and relax. Just a simple stretch. It not only opens up your body, it also releases the most important hormones, the endorphins and the serotonin. Now, as you know, serotonin basically works in keeping our positivity level up, okay, and endorphins makes us feel calm. Okay, so that's what, would you have realized that just stretching and opening up your body will do so much of magic? But when you do it with awareness, when you know you are opening up the body, you can feel these changes within yourself. Okay, and when I say every asana in yoga, it represents the metaphor for life. So when you do any stretching exercises, what I want you to reflect is, what are the areas that you need to stretch upon, or the areas where you feel you are stretching more than required, even that drains out the energy. Okay, so just focus when you're doing this asanas, what areas are you looking into. Okay, this was stretching. We move on to the next type of asana, which is forward bend. Okay, now you remember as a child you used to curl up your knees towards your chest, and that was a form of self cradle. Right? Now what are you doing? You are actually forward bending your body and taking it close to yourself so that you feel safe, or sometimes you feel a little bit of self-love towards you. That's what forward bends does for you. They basically use gravity to pull your bodies inside. And when you pull your bodies inside, what does it do? There are suppressed emotions, pain within ourselves which we don't even realize, and it's not only from this birth, it comes from earlier many births. But when you get into the forward bend, by inculcating the feeling that I'm getting into the forward bend, I'm releasing all my stored emotions, suppressed anger, suppressed fear, and then you get into that position, and when you come out, you're actually out of it. That's the beauty of this asanas. Okay, so the metaphor for life, I would say, and yeah, one more thing. See, forward folds are not generally comfortable. But then when you get into it, you are actually trying to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. And that is sometimes required if we want to move ahead in life. Right? So that's what forward fold does. Now, I want you to again raise your arms. I want it in the same way where I want you to feel the opening of the entire body. Now I want you to inhale. As you exhale, just bend as much as you can. Just bend as much as you can. Very nice. I'm just holding there. Come on. 3, 2, keep breathing. 1. Inhale, come up. Exhale. Very good. So you would see when you coordinate every moment with your breath, there's such a wonderful flow of oxygen which actually increases the efficiency of each and every organ in your body. And what are you going to reflect when you are doing a forward fold? Which area of your life are you most uncomfortable with? Be with that area of the life which you are uncomfortable with, and then come up and release it and let it go. That's the beauty of all the forward fold or forward bends postures that we do in yoga. Okay, Q, we move on to the next, which is backward bends. Okay, yeah. No, but this intimidating postures, that's not yoga all about. What I'm talking, it's about yoga. When you get into that position, what are you thinking? What are you releasing? What are you opening up? What are you stretching? That's actual yoga. Okay, so backward bend. Now, in forward bend, the gravity pulls us down, but in backward bend, we actually move from the confines of the gravity. And so, when you bend backward, you see there, what's happening is, there's a nice opening of the chest, at the same time, nice opening of the heart. And there are chakras in our body. When we open up the upper body, the heart chakra, it's the most important chakra of love and compassion. Yes. And it's not just love, it's unconditional love, which is so very difficult. Right? It's like I love someone if the other person loves me, but I just can't keep on loving without I get anything, right? So when you are doing the backward bend, you are also opening up, you are becoming familiar with that part of you which you never knew existed. So that's what yoga does. It takes you to that part of your life or your body which you never knew existed within yourself. Okay, now again, I want you to keep your arms on your waist, come a little bit front, and I want you to bend backwards. See a nice opening. There's I know it won't be difficult. Yeah, it's not that easy to sit and do it. If you're okay, yes, come on, look back. Yes, bend nicely. See how nicely you're opening your chest area. There's a nice opening of the shoulder muscles. The most important thing about this is you're taking your neck up. This is the seat of thymus glands. Many of them suffer from thyroid, right? So simple movement like doing this and creating a pressure over here helps in regulating the thymus gland, which controls the thyroid. So you see, yes, exactly.
Your thymus.
Yeah, even thumping.
You can
Exactly.
You know how Tarzan went so thump your thymus.
That's very
and wake up your jaw.
easy way.
The thymus shrinks as you age. So the more you spend a couple of minutes in the morning just saying, hey,
open up.
hey.
Thank you for adding in. So that's what backward bends are. Okay, and what are you going to reflect when you bend backwards? What is the negative emotion you want to release? Because you're opening your chest and shoulder areas nicely, wherein you have those emotions, suppressed emotions clogged up. So when you bend, what is that you are going to release? So inculcating that feeling when you do these postures gives much more benefits than what you can think about. That's why yoga is not a physical activity. It's not just a physical activity. It's not just a workout. It's a work in. It's a work in. Okay, fine. And a branch that doesn't bend, it breaks. Okay, so once I'm finished with this, just 5 things I'll let you know which you can do every day. That would be like setting your day right. Okay, we move on to the next, please. Next is twisting. Twisting is the best thing what you can do, and I'll tell you why. What do? You twist, right? When you are twisting, there are 2 important detox organs on the sides, pancreas and liver. They are the most important detox player in our body. When you twist, you are activating those organs, and that releases insulin, which balances the sugar in the blood. So any type of twisting is very effective for people who are diabetic. Okay, now that is one aspect of looking at what twisting does. Other aspect is, what does twisting signify? It means you're flexible enough to turn in any direction or to accept anything that life throws at you. That's what twisting does. Okay, now because you're sitting on the chair, but anyways, you can just keep your arms, your thighs, and twist a little bit to one side. Look back. Good. Hold there. Keep breathing. 3, 2, 1. Come to the center. Inhale. As you exhale, come on, twist to the other side. You're activating your important detox organs. What else you want? Inhale, center. Thank you. So here, what are you going to reflect when you do the twist? Which area of life you want to be much more flexible. It's again specific to an individual, but just inculcate that thought when you get into this postures and see how beautifully your body responds. And when your body responds, you take these lessons off the mat. It's not just on the mat. Okay, we move on to the next, balancing. Balancing is, it's so when you balance, what do? We are aligning our body's center of gravity with the earth's gravitational field, and it's so nice to be always connected to Mother Earth, because our body is made up of 5 nature elements: earth, water, air, fire, space. Okay, when you do this balancing postures, you are actually aligning yourself to Mother Nature. Apart from that, it also increases your focus and concentration, and also it strengthens the nervous system. This is the physical aspect, which forms just 35% of it. Coming on to the mental and the emotional level, when you balance your body, you are balancing your emotions. Okay, that's the beauty of this balancing asanas. Whatever is going inside your mind is getting nicely balanced when you do the balancing asanas. So the reflection in doing these postures, what areas of your life requires more balance? It's for you to identify it. So get into it. Similarly, if you see a tree, right? A tree, it's a most, easy and very good example of balancing. Any kind of weather, whether it's rains, harsh sun, the tree always stands there ready to face any challenges of the nature. Similarly, when you get into a balancing asana like tree pose, it helps you to inculcate that feeling that you're strong enough to balance whatever life comes your way. Okay, so that's the metaphor or the reflection when you do balancing asanas. Okay, now before I go to this, 5 things that I want you to do every day, and then you are set for the day. The first one is stretching. Come on, let's stretch. Feel the opening. Come on, keep breathing. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Very good. Inhale, come down. Nice. The next is the forward bend. Come on, inhale. As you exhale, slowly lean forward. Go down as much as you can. Keep breathing. Come on. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get comfortable with the uncomfortable position. Inhale, center. Third is backward bend. Come on, open up your chest. Open up nicely. Look up. Working on the thymus glands. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come to the center. Keep your arms here. Twist a little bit. Activate your detox organs. Come on, look back. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist to the other side. Be more flexible in life. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, center. Very good. Thank you all of you. And the fifth posture which I want you to do is balancing asana. I won't force it on you, but then yes, you can just stand like this, or if it's difficult, you can just do even like this. Okay? So this, very good. So the 5 postures that you need to do every day is, first is stretching, forward bend, backward bend, twisting and balancing. That takes care of everything. It sets your day right, it starts your day right, it works on all your internal organs, and try to inculcate what I told you when we were doing these asanas. That would surely help you to get into that phase and see how beautiful your life changes. Okay, before I wind up, I thought few takeaways that I would want you to give is, first is I'm going to show you a mudra. Mudra is a hand gesture, okay, which helps in reducing anxiety. Now let me tell you, when a child comes into the world, okay, you have seen the child always comes this way. Who has taught the child this? No one, right? It's the basic instinct of the child, right? You know what's the significance of this? A child is getting disconnected from the umbilical cord of his or her mother, which brings about so much of instability in the child. The child is confused, the child is afraid. The only thing is they can't express it, right? And when they do this, it gives them a little bit of cooling, calmness, that okay, it's not that bad. Okay, so if you feel you're being anxious, or if you feel you're getting into that phase wherein you need a little bit of calming for yourself, just take your thumb in, close this, and just be here for few seconds, and you will see how nicely your rewiring of the brain starts changing. Okay, so this is a nice hand gesture, easy hand gesture which you can do anytime, anywhere, whenever you feel anxious. Second takeaway I wanted to just share, setting an intention in the morning. When you get up in the morning, just announce to the world, I am happy, I am full of energy. Whatever, it may be specific to yourself. So my today's intention was, I am presenting my presentation in such a confident way, and that it's not only helping me, thank you, but it's working out for the best of everyone involved. Yes. So every morning announce it to the universe. The universe is ready to grant you whatever you want. It's just you who need to ask it. Okay, ask and you will receive. 100% tried and tested formula. Okay. The third, thank you. The previous one. The third thing what I want you to do, last 5 minutes of your day on your bed when you are sleeping. Okay. Just talk to yourself in any positive way, whatever it may be. Tomorrow is going to be a beautiful day, a very productive day. I feel great, I feel healthy, I am healthy, whatever that comes to your mind. Now what happens is, you announce it again, and then you have 7 to 8 hours of your sleep, and then your subconscious mind actually believes what you have been ranting or saying before sleeping. Yes, and then for the next hours, your subconscious mind will align you in such a mysterious way that we don't know how it does, but it does for sure, that you will actually see what you have said about yourself is happening true.
Absolutely.
Yes, yes. So try doing these small things and you will see beautiful changes in your life. Okay, and yes, you are the main actor or actress of your own movie. make it more interesting. Okay? Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you, Aparna Moore, for your talk. It's now time for the lunch break. Please make your way up to the Saltmarsh room, reception room, where you can enjoy your lunch, and session 2 will start at 2 p.m. So come back to here for 2 p.m, please. Thank you. Okay, I hope everyone had a good lunch. Yes. So I'd now like to introduce our first poster presentation by Dr. Leena Patel. Dr. Leena Patel is a founder and CEO of Global Entrepreneurial System, GES, One Soul Army, certified by CERN and NASA. She is from Ahmedabad? Yeah. Gujarat, India. Leena Patel's hard work and dedication had resulted in being awarded 19 international awards and several titles. In addition, Leena Patel is a brand ambassador at 4 international and national associations, and she is a world record holder for being an educator and entrepreneur. Leena Patel is talking about AI-based sustainable electricity generation, AISEG, which is written by Dr. Leena Patel and Dr. Avani Dave. Thank you.
So, good afternoon, everyone. And pleasing noon after the heavy tummy, something inside. But there is everything when we think, start from nothing. So, according to me, I just would like to express my humble gratitude towards the respected dignitaries over here, all the faculties members, all the shining stars, beautiful souls, admirers, beautiful innovators, and ultimately positive thinkers. I welcome you one and all present over here. And as being from the domain area of my AI-based sustainable electricity generation, I would just start with Sanskrit Ved mantra that Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Vidya Rupena Sanstita Namastasya 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 Namo Namaha. Vidya means education, learning. Learning never ends. It's a beautiful eternal journey which only begins. So we believe in starting, in beginning, and as an engineer, I do believe that we engineers always constantly are trying to find the solutions of the problems. So basically we look for the problem solving domain there, and we can see on the screen as well as over here. I hope that you would accompany with my words and the conceptual things which are on the research based scaling scales systems there. So let me start now with my little bit introduction that I have been a human being from India and I'm a beautiful child of my mom, dad, and blessed by my parents that whatever I'm doing, believing that life does not depend on what we think. Life always depends on how we think. Life always depends on how we think. Life does not depend on what we do. Life always depends on how we do. And this question leads towards the life's journey from how to wow. Wow means words of wisdom, W-O-W. And that's about the wisdom when we think for the research solutions based on some research skills and developments. So let's look into artificial intelligence based sustainable electricity generation. Here we are, me and my friend Dr. Avani Dave from USA. She is senior architecture from Intel, and we are trying level best to always to find certain solutions because I am a computer engineer. I am a B computer. I am M.Tech in computer science engineering, honorary doctor in philosophy of education, and I have been delivering more than 180 invitations, acceptance for the students as an educator, edupreneur, and entrepreneur. So I'm glad today to deliver whatever I'm doing, and obviously ahead, what shall we do? So first of all, let's go look. After COVID, we are all thinking about the space and pace, that we are attacked by a small virus, but it impacts on a biggest scale level. So nowadays there is a great challenge that are we sustaining, and as a human it's a constant burning question to all of us that are we living all the living standards habitually good or not. So my research presentation is somehow compatible with the habitual services of the human as well, habitual capabilities of the humans as well, because habit is a science, and science is the motherland of any in fact every technologies across the world. So every single technology, if I talk about the IoT, if I talk about the internet is a technology from the web science. So the same way we are looking here that today energy consumptions become more higher and higher, and because of that there is a shortage of electricity somewhere in the corner of your country as well as across the whole globe. Some of the countries are literally facing, after the pandemic situations, that everything is disturbed. No more bandwidths are there, no more networking systems are properly there, towers are not working. So these are all the problematic scenarios we are thinking of. But somehow, from my central idea of this poster presentation there, we are growing the smart grid. It's a new version of electric grid. I know that all are sitting over here, not individually engineers, so I'll try level best to just put up the spark regarding my innovative work ahead. So we are thinking that smart grid. See, everybody is known and familiar with the utilization of digital devices, electronic devices. Other than that, we are used to speak that the human nowadays are handicapped without internet. So, Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, and blockchain. We are intending to cover this main domain research area to strive out the smart grid. This is controlling with control engineering, electrical engineering, artificial intelligence, and communications technologies. So using these 4 main domain areas, smart grid work for a rising sustainability, reliability, intelligence, market enabling, efficiency, and flexibilities. So ultimately these are our goals as we use either electric grid or the smart grid. Electric grid means usage of all the electronics devices and electrical devices there. So still, if we are talking about the bandwidth and the powers, that we use the solar energy, solar power, we use wind power, efficiency of the we can say the turbine, and using turbine, increasing RPM, rounds per minute, we generate the watts, power measured in watts. So increasing watts give the nation the maximum reach towards your electricity. But at the same point, we have the question that how do we generate? What to do when there is a struggle with the inputs? And efficiency means what? If I give you the equation that efficiency means, if go for the mathematical equation, efficiency is equal to output divided by input. So it depends only on our inputs. How do we give the inputs towards any of the system in the world? So if we talk about this, that represent this amalgamation for technologies can significantly contribute in modern power sector at different stages of first energy industry. If we talk about that is electricity production. Second, power delivery. How do we deliver the power? And third is electric distribution networks. Then third strategy comes that how to distribute. And last is energy storage. We can harvest the energy using the tanks. If we go for the water, if we go for harvesting energy from the wind, that we have to create more and more large scale systems. But here our research work depicts to particularly these sections that we are working with small scale decentralized energy systems yet, because this smart grid is challenging to be established because it is complex as well as costly. The reason is that we need more and more devices to be in for using this smart grid. So there are certain issues. Knowing that, we are trying level best to establish this on a small scale decentralized energy systems, where we find these 3 basic key points I just would like to share with you guys. First is accurately forecasting renewable energy generation. Renewable energy generation is a point where we want to generate from the renewable sources. I mean, previously we were using the variable renewable energies, VR is into power systems, but yet still using smart grid. How can we still deploy and improve these key points using this? First is accurately forecasting. We are on accurate level somehow to forecast that renewable energy generation will be there. It helps in safe grid operation and two-way communication. So it will give us the safe grid operation as well as minimize operational cost of energy sources. So it will reduce the cost of the, you can say, minimal storages. It presents a novel architecture called ABNet, and here that is a one-step forecast of renewable energy generation for short-term horizons by incorporating an autoencoder with bidirectional long short-term memory. In short, we can be accurate more and more using this smart grid along with this AI approach. And second is incorporating predictive maintenance. How can we predict that turbine is now too old and it's needing a much more maintenance over there? That can also incorporate using this. Predictive analytics can take sensor data from a wind turbine into a motor we are out there or predict with a high degree of efficiency. Means what? We can actually come up with that particular predictive maintenance that this particular turbine needs more maintenance there, and then it would need that particular sort of maintenance within which duration as well. So we can incorporate using this. Third, predicting consumer demands. I mean, when there is a greater demand in the market, you can come to know that suppliers would have the chance to make up the things on floor efficiently done. And definitely towards the GDP of the nation across the whole globe to increase, it will also help. So how can we predict? It talks about the effective application of genetic algorithm, GA, and specifically in forecasting, electricity demand for small scale decentralized energy systems which are emerging in the smart grid context. I'm just telling this all in the context of this smart grid context, and here we can say that electricity and per hour wise the usage, winter weekends and the summer weekends, we can sort out the things. So here we had taken from the January to 17 data, so we can come up with the research that okay fine, this 3 can be still applicable to and reach the demands of the electricity. We can still use the renewables more and more in the variety using this particular smart grid towards this, deploying renewables increases power sector complexity and the need. So ultimately what do we need is electricity. Without electricity, without power, we are powerless. And we know that supreme power is the God. Natural ingredients supports us somewhere to maintain and sustain this, SDG goals. Right now, G20 international summits I had attended and many more programs I'm doing. So I have already done research on cybersecurity as well. In 13, I had done a research on cybersecurity apart from this, and I had done a malware analysis based on the Iran nuclear plant diffused. That was a malware, and I talked just because that research is endless, and this research is gonna be for some years and years, because we have to deploy this smart grid for large scale systems, decentralized energy systems. Yet we are working for only beginning level, and just because this is complex and the cost wise very high. So as an engineer, what's our duty is, engineer should not be a problem, because engineer believes in implementations and finding research solutions. So for my concept of this artificial intelligence, I also would like to morally say that recently I had delivered an international session on the NGO of India, and the host was from Malaysia, AI versus EI. So here it's not a full stop. Artificial intelligence versus emotional intelligence is still in the picture. And in the core idea of living standards and a successful life as a human, we all do know that without humanity, we are nothing. And because of this, how can we help these needy people, those who are having a lack of the electricity? Maximum villages of India, maximum villages of Africa, as well as some of the corners of the any of the continents of the world, where we have to still reach with a powerful sense to provide the electricity in a wonderful sense. So it is a start. It is a small scale decentralized energy system where we are looking for, and me and my friend are also trying to present using with this. Right now we are working with the that artificial intelligence has a three main sub branches, that NLP, RT and ML, neuro linguistic programming, then robotics technology, and third is machine learning. So this is for machine learning approach. Over here we are doing machine learning based integrated feature selection approach, using feature selection approach for improved electricity demand forecasting in decentralized energy systems. So this is for ML domain, machine learning. Before many years I had developed an embedded software as well in 2010 as my final year Bachelor of Engineering project, ma'am. So at that time I had induced, and that research essence was there planted that time when I was a student. And this is a constant journey yet, that looking for this three domain IoT, Internet of Things nowadays, making more demands to be fulfilled with reaching more and more electricity generation through renewables. And this is why REs are exist, renewable energy exist. Renewable means we can still make it in another form, but it remains existed as it is with the original nature. So originality never goes far, we know that. And second thing is that using these three factors to reach, key points are this we have to cover. We are also looking that to reach with crowdsourcing, and we are also looking with this research to reach about not only crowdsourcing, but for blockchain and IoT, there will be a boom market for coming 20 years, 2 decades. So we can see the natural graph that without digital electronics and the communication engineering, we are handicapped. But at the same moment, without the softwares, and now why AI? That is the main question, that why AI? We are not intending to change our emotional intelligence. We are not telling anyone to be a robot. We are humans, and knowing this essentiality that as being a human, we have to use wisely, nicely all the natural ingredients. We can see the environmental disturbance, global warming, because of the bad habits of the humans nowadays. And because of that, this is the last spark for all of us, that we have to wake up now. As ma'am said, wake up call for everyone how to use this. So this is one of the solution to reach out the large scale in future. Thank you so much. I have so any questions laterally we can integrate for the further questions. Thank you so much once again.
Thank you, Dr. Lena Patel. I would now like to introduce Sherry Dashti, who is a director and practitioner. She's been practicing aesthetic procedures for over 13 years, and as well as assessing and counselling individuals. She will be talking about going against the aging process.
So, as you know, my name is Sherry Dashti. I'm a director of Chair Cosmetic Company, aesthetic company, and also prescriber practitioner working over 10 years, constantly doing aesthetic and cosmetic procedures, and it's part of my life. So basically today I want to talk to you about aging and how to go against aging as much as possible. As you know, all of us will get older, we get age, physical appearance will change, which is absolutely beautiful process. And a lot of people are okay with their aging, with their face, feature, everything. No problem. And that is perfect. That's actually amazing. But there are a lot of people at the same time, like normal people even, which can't accept the fact of getting older. And it could affect on their mental health or mentality in a big time, like have a different impact from a small upsetness or affecting to their life up to the big trauma. And this is recently become more identified because of the social media, because of the technology, and all of these changing that has been happening last 2 decades or last decade even. So I'm here to tell you about the benefits of anti-aging and how we can change the kind of effect of that on the aesthetic world, especially after aesthetics, the cosmetic surgery has become, the number of cosmetic surgeries has become reduced because people now do more aesthetics to avoid doing more irreversible treatments like plastic surgery. And it has been successfully reported over that time. So the aim of this study is, as I said, to explain to you what's the benefit of that, and also what's the benefit of how it can have an impact with the mental health and productivity to raise your self-confidence. Therefore, you become more productive in your life, and also you can do more when somebody is feeling a little bit happy about themselves. So when we do aesthetic treatments, after a person sees some result, they love the treatment, they love the result. As long as we carried out this procedure in a very natural looking way, it has to be very maintaining all possible of naturality, not artificial. A lot of people think because of the media and because of the celebrity looks, and some people doing too much, they think if they apply dermal fillers, for example, or extra volume on the face, they're gonna look artificial, and some people do, but it's not. That's not the concept. The concept is to create a natural looking effect on your face, replace the volume that you already lost and you had it, for example, like 5-10 years ago, all of us had, and then the face turned flat or losing the volume around the cheek, around the mouth, and this is visibly can be corrected with adding or replacing back your own volume. No one can knows what you've done, and this is a natural approach, natural looking approach, and this is a technique that is very important, and it's a correct finish on aesthetic procedure. There are some treatments that we can achieve, and I'm going to narrow it down for you. Few examples. For example, one of the treatments that most of you are familiar probably with that is Botox, which is applying to relax the muscles and lines, specifically for upper face, that we have movement, muscles are strong. We try to relax the muscles and open up the face, and to prevent, in fact, the future lines formation, possibility of lines formation. And over the time, that gives us a natural looking effect as well as prevention. The other agent would be the dermal filler or hyaluronic acid, which we normally apply for all around but mainly lower face to remove the indentation, fill up the empty flat gap, and it's my favorite treatments actually, because immediately we can see the finish and in a fantastic way of refreshment. Also, there are other treatments that many of them are available, but main is to boost the collagen and elasticity into your skin, because this is what we lose over the time, the amount of production of collagen and elastin, and that's what we try to replace into our face, such as mesotherapy, PRP or platelet-rich plasma, microneedling, and other stuff, and thread lift. And these numbers are getting more and more because of the demand, because everybody has demand of getting better and younger, because it affects their mental, it affects health, and it affects their productivity and also confidence. Raise the confidence a huge amount. I remember I had clients that, basically they were coming to me based on their problems and trauma in their life, kind of like verbal abuse from the partner, husband, or separation, divorce, or losing even someone, or child moving out from the house. All of these traumas affecting them, and it's like shopping, they're directly coming to me, they want a treatment to feel better. And it's very, very important as a practitioner to distinguish these problems. Where is this problem coming from? So therefore, I think a practitioner, before being an aesthetic practitioner, they have to be counselor. They have to be able to analyze the problem. What is the problem? And fix it according to the need, not according to the money taking or business. This is very important matters. It's somebody's face or neck, and it's very important to analyze where is the problem. As I said,
body dysmorphia.
absolutely.
Psychological condition called body dysmorphia.
Dysmorphia, absolutely, and it's very common. I had a client. She was a beautiful lady, but I knew she was being verbal abused by her boyfriend, and financially she was struggling, and she didn't even have the gas bill to pay. She was coming to me and demanding she wants to do the hand filler, just to satisfy herself without any need, without any necessary thing. And I knew hand filler is expensive, and you don't even have money to pay your gas bills or bills. And this is a mental background around it. Even if I would have done it for her, it wouldn't solve her problem, because she would have come back with another problem. And it's very, very important to be honest in this field. That's the number one key problem, like key things to just do in this matter. At the end, I want to come to the conclusion of aesthetic procedure and all the cosmetic procedures are very useful to help the mental health for a lot of people if it's directed in a right way, and also the honest application and consultation is very important to give the very safe pathway of the treatment to the clients. And there are some results I just displayed to you here, and I can show you after with many more, that show you that with a simple application of dermafiller combination with collagen, and this is a picture after 2 years, so very low maintenance but great result. And after 2 years you can see that not only the face is not artificial, but also it looks nice and refreshed, and she looked younger than to her 2 years ago. And this is a right application with the right product, and also this is what we want to achieve for everyone. If you have any questions about any sort of treatments or any question, I'm very happy to answer you as much as I can. And also my assistant passed you the stone, and this is to just bring you the very small example of these stones were very old. All of them are very old, very rough, but then it's been looked after, it's been vanished and colored, and so now you can see them in a very beautiful and a best shape. So we can get older, but we can still look fresh. And this is to avoid a lot of other traumas in our face. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you.
Thank you, Shari Dashti. I would like to now invite Vani Iris Manley, Esquire, to the front. Vani Iris Manley is a TEDx and award-winning speaker on change, a business and IP lawyer, and a best-selling author. She's the founder of the speaking and global consultancy firm The House of Inspirational Business, based in Paris, France. W. Manley PA, a boutique business and IP law firm where inspiration meets law, which provides legal contract templates, resources, and education for entrepreneurs. Vani has 19 years of international business, corporate, and IP law experience, while working exclusively with C-suite executives of multinational and public companies, including, but not limited to, MasterCard, Inc., Visa, Inc., and Office Depot, Inc., to name a few throughout her career. Vani is the best-selling author of Get Out of Survival Mode and Live the Life You Really Want, and is best known for her daredevil move from Miami to Paris, a city where Vani knew not one word of French, without a plan A, B, or C, purely on following universal signs over the course of a year that led her to Paris, clearly demonstrating that if you're going to live life for success in life, and business is quite simple, You are under zero obligation to be the same person you were 5 minutes ago, so change. Bani Iris Manley Esquire is talking about change is the name of the game for building sustainability after the COVID-19 pandemic. Thank you.
Here and everybody who's making it possible behind the scenes, I just want to say thank you so much for having me, for actually being part of it. And so I am going to talk to you about what I know best. What do I do? Just to, okay, perfect. Thank you.
Good.
Yes, okay. I'm going to be talking to you about what I know best, what my whole life has actually been based upon since I came onto this earth, and that is how to change. I have lived in 5 different countries and 13 cities, and so change is something that actually comes to me quite naturally, and I actually seek out situations for change. In this age of COVID-19, or in the post-development or the post-COVID world, change is the name of the game for you to be sustainable after and where we're going right now. Yet as human beings, we actually are afraid of change. We grossly equate it to death, and we avoid it at all costs. In fact, in 2021, Google Trends show that people Google the fear of COVID and the fear of change at equal and alarming rates. That is actually how much we fear change. We equate it to death. Yet what we don't realize is that change is actually the doorway to what we actually want. Let me ask you a question here. How many of you like change? Be honest. How many of you want to change? Be even more honest. Okay, I'm talking about room of leaders here. Okay, I get it. Okay, how many of you then actually want to lead the change, to be at the stake and be at the front? Yeah. Not a lot of people, but I'm talking to some top dogs here in the room. But typically, the hands is just actually, everybody usually wants change, but then it usually looks like this right here, right? How many of you have seen this before, right? But we're all leaders here, right? We're all top dogs, so we're all like, we're at the very bottom here. Yet with the recent COVID-19 pandemic, ushering in is brought in a very quick and a fast-moving changing world where to the point we actually have no choice but to actually change. Individually, we are also being forced to evolve at the risk of our very survival, our inability to actually thrive and even feed ourselves in this new and ever so changing world. So then the question becomes really, how do we stop resisting change in order for us to actually stay relevant in this new world, to not be made redundant, to not be replaced at our jobs, to not lose our sense of self and our sense of belonging. What we're finding right now is that everything's being replaced with the technology, right? And as much as we resist change, what we don't realize is that we're actually are shooting ourselves in the foot. Not knowing that actually embracing change is the gateway to all of our desires. It is actually the gateway to actually us having the things we really want and living the life that we actually really want. And it's actually the doorways to actually giving us a plethora of opportunities if only we're willing to let go of the past and step into the future. And I can tell you, I am actually a living proof of that. So, as you heard in my intro, I'm actually from Miami, and this is where I used to live right here. And in 2010, I made a decision that would change the entire trajectory of my life. That ushered in the greatest catalyst of change, which is even when I discovered the things I'm about to share with you here today. I'm about to hopefully change your perspective about change and to actually change your relationship with how you engage with change, because we're at a point right now where not only our sustainability actually depends upon it, but really how do we actually thrive? Because for me, I personally find sustainability is a mediocre life. It's mediocrity, right? And it leads to boredom. That decision for me was that on New Year's Eve in 2010, instead of going out to party with my friends in Miami, I actually decided to stay at home abruptly and to analyze my life the whole year. And what I did was with meditation, I began to look at the things I had achieved that year, and I wrote those down, which is a very short list. I then went to look and see all the things that I actually failed at, and that list was much longer. Taking full responsibility, I looked at each one of my failures and I asked myself, Wani, what happened? What went wrong? The short end of it was that I was in love for the very first time, and I was also a brand new business owner, starting my very first law firm. At the time, I knew nothing about how to run a business, but I know how to be a lawyer. But being in love for the very first time actually stifled any real chance for success. Next, I began to look at my limiting beliefs, and I wrote down every single limiting belief that I had about myself. I had begun the spiritual path with a teacher here from England, and I began to connect with Hindu teachings and Buddhism. And actually, growing up in Christianity, it just made sense for me, right? And I began to realize that what was actually causing my life was actually what I was believing about myself. So I got on all fours, and after writing every single thing down, I prayed the most reverent prayer to God, asking God to help me to release all the limited beliefs that I had about myself. Because I realized what was actually causing my reality was actually what I was believing about myself, what I was actually feeling about myself. And when I was done, I began to go through a whole self-forgiveness practice. When I was finished, it was now time to look into the future. I got a brand new journal like I always do for New Year's Eve, and it had the word imagine on it. And in that journal, I began to write. I wrote down every single thing that I wanted to be, that I wanted to do, and I wanted to have and experience in 2011. In fact, that day, I wrote without any limits whatsoever. I wrote by the words that I actually live by, which are, the sky is not even the limit, but the viewpoint. These words are one of two words that I actually live by, which I'll share with you secondly. In fact, that day, I personally believe I wrote what I feel Elon Musk must think like on a daily basis, because I was writing so outrageous, like just things that I just wasn't even thinking about the how, but just what did I really want to experience. And when I was done, I began to visualize myself having those things. I began to say mantras and affirmations in Sanskrit over them. And when midnight came, I took one sip of glass of champagne and I passed out. Why? I was tired. Because I had been at this process since 6:30 p.m. or a.m. that morning. Unbeknownst, nothing in my journal though said that I actually wanted to leave Miami. But unbeknownst to me was that I had ushered in a catalyst for change. 3 days later, everything in my life in Miami began to change. I began to experience all of these signs about Paris, French culture, French this and French that. It was super weird because I wasn't a typical American that was all crazy delusional about Paris and France. My parents are West African from Liberia. I'm not from a Francophone country, so it made no sense whatsoever as to why my Latin America, Spanish-speaking only world in Miami was all of a sudden being invaded all the things about Paris, French, and French this. And so for a single year, it was Paris, 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 Paris. And one day in August, my heart finally spoke to me and said, move. And so in October of that year, I sold my apartment in Paris that I showed you earlier, in Miami. I sold my car. I gave away all of my things to different charities, and I only kept my spiritual books. I kept my crystals, I kept my mala beads, and I kept my legal files because by law, 7 years of attorneys actually have to keep all of our legal files, otherwise it's malpractice, right? And I moved to Paris. I didn't know a single person. I didn't know one word of French, not even how to say bonjour. I didn't have any plan A, B, C, or whatsoever. I had no idea what the hell I was actually going to do to go in Paris, because I've been a lawyer all of my life. In fact, October this year, I'll be a lawyer for 20 years. Before I left Miami, my hopelessly romantic friends told me that I was going to Paris to meet the love of my life, and they began planning my wedding instantly. My spiritual teacher, who's actually from the UK, and he went to Eton and grew up very privileged, went to school with Prince William, told me that I was actually going to Paris on a karma cleansing mission and to get ready for the adventure of my life. However, it was the words of my hairdresser whose attention got me the most. She told me I was going to Paris to meet the one, but it had nothing to do with the man. She told me I was going to Paris to meet me, the real me, the soul walking along my path. When she said those words to me, I knew that when I was coming to Paris, that I wasn't just changing countries, that I was changing identities, that I was actually changing my fate, and I was ushering in the greatest change of my life. And this is what we are not made aware of. We're never taught that. And so we sit around, we're always looking for things to change outside of us first, right? We're sitting and waiting around and wait for day after day, week after week, month after month, and even for years, waiting for something on the outside of us to actually change, for someone else to change, for some unwanted situation in our lives to actually just disappear. Hoping and praying is our strategy. Sound familiar? And then what happens is this thing called COVID. We have an unprecedented global pandemic which arm wrestles us, and it actually forces us to change because our world as we know it has completely ended. In order for us to actually to stay relevant in this new world or to even feed ourselves, we must ourselves actually change and embrace the change that is actually now staring us in the face. It's actually change and embrace change, or it be made irrelevant. But what we need to understand is this. It is not that it's change itself that actually makes us irrelevant. It is our failures to actually embrace and to work with it, to exploit the new avenues that the change is actually bringing before us. That is the failures, that is what's actually making us irrelevant. Then another question becomes is, how do we actually do this? How do we do it when we as a human beings, we hate change? We do everything in our power to resist change, to stay in the familiar no matter how bad and how toxic the familiar actually is. And also, and I want to share with you today is a framework for you to actually to stop resisting change, because we're at a point right now where we actually have no choice, right? And for you to not only to be to sustain yourself in the new world, but actually be able to thrive in it. Because I also want to show you too that there's such a great opportunity here, and once we can get past of wanting the old life to return back again, wanting to have, because it's never going to come back, and I think and we really have to let go of all of that, because it's just not the case. And the first part of this framework is I want you to understand you're 100% responsible for your experience with any change you must be going through. Now, you may not have any control over the exact changes actually before you, right, or the exact circumstance, right? However, you do have 100% control how you experience it, what your feelings are about it, like what your emotions are about it, right? So, for example, Goldman Sachs has said that 30 million jobs or AI is actually going to eliminate or to downgrade 30 million jobs. How does that make you feel? Anybody want to share? Me as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, I'm just thinking of all the ways, all the new businesses that can be formed, because that's just how I think, right? Now, for the very first time coming from Paris here to this conference, I took the Eurostar, right? And for the first time, I experienced the whole facial recognition. Now, I could have gone through that and been feeling sad for the lack of human connection that was going to happen, that was happening along the way. I could have felt sad because for the worker that eventually who's actually is going to lose his job, who sent my passport. Or I could have looked at it, which is what I was doing, was, wow, look how efficient this process really is, right? I was looking at it as, wow, look at how we have advanced with technology, and look how we are using technology right now to actually make travel to just proceed a lot more easier. I could have also looked at the worker and say, my gosh, he's now going to be set free, because I sincerely doubt that his dream job is to sit there and stamp passport, or that's actually his dharma. I don't think it's his life purpose. And now he's actually to be set free to actually do what he really wants with this life and probably create more sustainability for himself as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, as an innovator, because we have to understand to create financial stability for ourselves, we have to be in control of our own finances. COVID, on the other hand, for us, brought so many opportunities. I mean, let's just take Zoom, for example, right? How many people even knew Zoom even existed before COVID? Right? Look at how it changed the events industry. Before COVID happened, we were only able to have an event where we can only invite a couple of hundred people, small thousands, right? However, with the Zoom or with COVID, it opens to the whole virtual world where we could actually be able to have events where we have like hundreds of thousands, even millions of people. For example, I'm a big Tony Robbins fan, right? The average price or the minimum price to go to Tony Robbins event is $1,000 plus, right? And that is just the entry of the UPW. That's not even like the airfare. That's not even like the hotel and the food and all of that. But with COVID happening, he couldn't actually hold his events. He was now able to do the whole everything virtual and sell a ticket for $49. He reached over 1 million people. I was present online with him.
5 million.
The event that I went to, he was reaching over 1 million people. So, but even better, right? 5 million people, right? But before he was like in a stadium or at convention centers, right? look at how COVID then actually presented to us in terms of like the working from home, right? It sapped our whole commute times down, right? And people were not going into going to the office anymore, right? And so there's always some opportunities because, and that's what's always presented to us. The second part of the framework is you got to have a growth mindset. Now, what is a growth mindset? A growth mindset is actually recognizing that everything is actually happening for you. That nothing is ever happening to you. In fact, not only is everything happening for you, it is actually happening by you. You are actually creating that, and it's actually for a very higher purpose or for your evolution. And it's only whenever you can get out of the why is this happening to me and actually how is this actually happening for me, you begin to see what I call the third component of this whole frame, which is actually like the golden opportunity that is actually within the change in itself. I want you to remember these words. Whenever you're facing a problem, it is this. The solution you're facing, the solution is always within a problem. There is no problem that is ever existing whereby the solution is not in it. The problem is that we get stuck in why is this happening to me, all the victim talk and all the poor me and all the wanting to have the kumbayas with our girlfriends to support us in our poor me state, that we never ever begin to open up and see what's being available to us, right? COVID gave us a golden opportunity, right? I was talking about the Zoom example earlier, okay? Another thing that COVID did, what I found just incredible was how it gave rise to the pandemic entrepreneurs. In 2020, in the US alone, 4.4 million new entrepreneurs were birthed from COVID. And according to the BBC in 2021, over 5 million new millionaires were born during COVID in 2020. And this is like at the height, despite all the economic damage. Me as a business owner personally, I have been in business since 2008 for 14 years. I had my best economic year in 2020 and beyond. Post-COVID, it just keeps going up and up and up and up. Because I, like many other people, like my other colleagues, because we all have this mindset of it's an opportunity, right? We saw the change, we saw the ways to actually innovate our business, and we actually like quadruple like our income. And that's what you actually have to do, but you can't be in that state. The opportunities cannot come to you if you're thinking about, why is this happening, and you're looking at what's happening with the government and what they're not doing, and just like you're getting caught up in all of the blah, 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 blah. It's like, no, that there's a golden opportunity there. In fact, if you look at in the past, during recessions and depressions, like all these like tech companies we actually have right now, they were all born from changes, right? From depressions, all the Airbnbs, the Facebook, the Waze, the GPS system, right? Living, all those were all created during great catalysts of change, and including great supposed negative change happenings. The next component of the framework is to actually, you have to divorce yourself from the narrative that actually change is hard. Overwhelmingly, we have this narrative that we're always saying to ourselves that change is actually hard. We view change as something that's completely very difficult, and that is something to be avoided at a cost, and we see that as a threat. And what happens is that when you're telling yourself something is actually hard, are you looking forward to it? Are you moving towards it? You probably are avoiding it, right? You're probably feeling very constricted. And I share with you, I actually had to go through this when I was actually in Paris. Because when I arrived in Paris, I didn't know how to say anything in French, right? And the overwhelming belief about French is that French is very difficult, right? The whole country is saying how French is actually difficult. Even French people born in France, live in France their entire life, will tell you their whole language is completely difficult, right? And so I found myself forgetting all my personality and spiritual knowledge, and was like, yeah, it's hard. And guess what? I resisted like a plague. I didn't want to look at it. I was telling myself, you know what? I work in English. I don't need it, And I would just, the language never stuck. And I was like, wait, I got to stop doing this, right? And I began to stop telling myself, and I divorced with the mantra that actually French is hard, and began lying to myself, really, and telling myself it was actually easy. I began telling myself it was actually a beautiful language, it was fun, it was sexy. I prefer like the French-speaking version, because I was like, wow, you're badass. Okay, you've got French, then you've got English, you've got Spanish, and now you've got French. It's like, and I love the fact when I go back to Miami, I could like, go back and forth and speak the, 3 different languages, right? But I have to tell myself anything than it was being hard. It was only at that point where my brain began to actually embrace me, actually learn the language. I began to actually want to study it, go to classes for it, and actually begin to stick it. It didn't feel like this like foreign language that I could never possibly get. And to the point to now where when I go back to Miami, which I was there a couple of days ago, when people spoke to me in Spanish, I just couldn't respond in Spanish. Like only French was actually coming out, because now my brain now thinks in French, but it only began to happen when I start telling myself that it was actually hard. Because the truth of the matter is that nothing is really hard, right? I want you to ask yourself, whenever you're telling yourself that something is actually hard, is it really true? Is it really true that it's actually hard, or is it really a story that you're telling yourself, right? And if you were to tell yourself, if you were to drop that story that something is actually hard, is it possible that you might create a different outcome for yourself, right? Even quantum physics has actually caught up with that and has given us the observer effect, right? It tells us that what it causes a thing to be really depends upon the person who's actually looking at it, right? So whatever who's looking at it, what you're looking at, however you're perceiving it to be, is what exactly is what you were experiencing it. So I want you to start to reframe your language around change, right? And instead of saying that it's actually difficult, to see it as an adventure. For me, that's how I see it. I see it as an opportunity. Maybe it's the business law thing in me, I don't know, but I'm always looking at, okay, how can I make money out of this? How can I create something? And it's like, for me, whatever the change may be, I'm always looking at the positive first and foremost, and that's it. I want you to see it as a pathway to success, for you to actually not even living your best life, but not only from a personal level, but also from like a business level as well too. The next piece of it is that you also have to get comfortable with being very uncomfortable. Listen, I'm not going to lie to you. Change is really uncomfortable, right? The feeling of it is, right? And it's only because it's unfamiliar, because our mind is always clinging to what we know. And so when we're feeling something that is very brand new to us, we're just not used to it, right? But here's what I found about being comfortable. It's really complacency. It's actually like living it's living like a very unlived life. It's like you'll just be existing, right? And you're not really engaged in life. And what I also found about the whole discomfort is that it's actually temporary. It's only because it's brand new. And the minute you actually because it's unfamiliar to the mind, the minute you actually make the unfamiliar familiar, it then becomes habitual. So you're no longer like in a state like it's all brand new, right? The last piece of it is that your desire to embrace change and to move forward in the new life has to actually be stronger than you wanting things to be the same or to go back where it was. Otherwise, you're going to find yourself maybe redundant. You're going to find yourself like being stuck, being replaced, and you're going to find yourself like being lost and not having a place as to where we're actually going. What I've also actually found is people say change is hard. I actually find staying the same is actually harder. It's actually worse. Exactly. It's actually worse, right?
It's a lot worse.
Yes. What's harder is being left behind. What's harder is being replaced. What's harder is like being lost, right? What's harder is like not finding yourself out of a job because you're not able to, you're just afraid of technology. It's like, no, like you can use it as a tool with anything else. And so what I want you to understand as we're going forward is that right now, the name of the game has changed. And the only way forward is for you to be agile, is for you to be innovative. That whether it's your personal life, your professional life, your spiritual life, it's like even for me now, the meditation I was doing like 10 years ago aren't working anymore. It doesn't work anymore because why? New frequencies we're in a brand new world, so we actually have to innovate. The last thing that I want to share with you is this, that, I said to you earlier, there are two words or two phrases I actually live by. The first was that the sky isn't even the limit of the viewpoint. The second is that, and it's the words of Alan Watts, and it goes like this: you're under no obligation to be the same person who you were 5 minutes ago. And I say this with you because if it weren't for me actually changing, if it wasn't for me actually coming down here or actually following the signs and actually changing my entire life, my fundamentals of everything, I literally would not be here at Cambridge University. Like, what am I doing here? You know what I mean? I was in Miami like 10 years ago minding my business. You know what I mean? It's like, here I am. I follow the signs and I follow the change, and here I am I'm connecting with each and every one of you because it's so important, because the minute you do it, like an entire world opens up for you that you can never ever imagine, you can never ever expect whatsoever. And so the name of the game is actually change, not only to be sustainable, it's actually to thrive. Thank you.
Thank you, Wani Aris Manley Esquire, for your talk. So we would now like to have a 10-minute break for refreshments. Okay, I hope everybody enjoyed their refreshments. I'd like to invite you all back, and I'd like to invite Kum Kum Chef to the front. Kum Kum Chef is a director and fashion designer. She founded Kiana's Wardrobe due to her passion for the world of fashion and design. She specialises in a broad range of fashion due to her vast experience, dominantly in India, Dubai, and Singapore. She focuses on fusing the Indo-Western cultures together through her designs and professional expertise. Kum Kum Chef gained her BCom from Delhi University and was awarded her master's degree, MBA in marketing from NMIMS Mumbai. Kum Kum Chef is captivated by thought processes that go into designing an array of different garments and is inspired when clothes make cultural statements. Her flexibility in designing ethnic fashion wear led Kum Kum Chef to being awarded the Best Ethnic Designer of the Year 2021 to 2022. She believes that the best designs are simple yet amazingly adorned with smart crafted products and exquisite workmanship and skills from the city of Nawab's Lucknow. Kum Kum Chef is talking about fashion, chicken curry and society. Thank you.
Hi, good evening everyone. I hope everyone is doing good. First of all, I would like to say thank you to Pareen ma'am and the Global Research Conference. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to be here and to express my thoughts on fashion. So, okay, just next.
Okay. Just press it.
Okay, so like I'm into moreover fashion, like fashion, ethnic fashion, traditional wear. So this is basically is very much into India. And so fashion is like basically what you are going to wear day to day. It's like changes by the, you can say season is like seasonal wear, you can say winter mein there is some other fashion, then in wedding wear, corporate wear, lot many things are there. So let's go. How fashion connected to the culture and religious, like so basically how fashion is connected to our lives. So like it's connected to lot of cultures, religions, and then people represent themselves, like it's represent you basically, like how your body, what your body type, your complexion, your like events where you're going. So what is like what is needed, fashion designer has to be understand the one-to-one choice, like it's not like what day-to-day basis what is the tradition is going on, but what person is liking, what person body needs, how is his or her choice. So that is basically, according to me, is a fashion. So it's like in COVID times there was like mask was very much into trends. If people are wearing red, so they wanted to wear a red color mask. If they are wearing even a brides, they wanted to wear a bridal mask. So that way fashion is very important also and need also, just to make confident when you are good dress up, when you are happy, so you want to express through, you can say, a fashion. So today we are going to talk about a chicken curry. What is a chicken curry? Chicken curry is basically embroidery, basically originated from Lucknow. Lucknow is a city of India. Okay, so this was the work which initially housewife used to do, like when they are free, and they used to do in their free time, just for a time, just to invest their time. But later on, it was so much into the trend, so much people started liking it. So it has become, day to day, when the people just, suppose if they have made few pieces, so it has like so much in demand. So nowadays it's become a big business. You can talk about Dubai, you can talk about Pakistan, you can talk about Singapore. There is a separate market for chicken curry, and people are doing wonders in, like, they are making Indo-Westerns, lehengas, suits, whatever. In fact, the court sets, corporate sets. So these are type of. So chicken curry is into like different sectors. They're like lot many embroideries are into chicken curry. Like you can say the basic chicken curry, that is called a rahit, and then it comes to the takchi work, then it's called a ek tar, do tar, teen tar. There is a separate kind of a work. Basic is like a rahit is a like very basic work. Like you can see what I'm wearing is this is the basic chicken curry. So that is the reason I have wore this dress, just to see, because I couldn't get anything just to show you here. Yeah. So this is the basic work. This is all done by the hand. Wow. Like it's the hand work. Wow. In fact, this golden work you can see, this is called mukesh work. So this is also done by the hand. After that, it's called a tutar. Tutar is such a fine work. You cannot even make out with the naked eyes ki it is like by hand or by machine. So that kind of a fine work it is. So what is the procedure of the chicken curry? First, you have to think like what you are going to make. You are making lehenga, suit, sari, court sets, Indo-Western gown. So first you have to thought. When you are thought, then you have to draw a rough sketch on the paper, like what work is going to be. Then you have to choose a fabric. According to the work, we have to choose a fabric. If your work is very heavy, you can't take a light fabric. If you are taking a light fabric, then this work can't hold that work. Then process comes into printing. Then you have to do the printing. After the printing, like printing is also like it's called block printing, then bale printing, then it's called jal printing. Jal is the heaviest, and block printing is a basic. This is the printing process, how we go through. This we can see that this is called a jal. It's the heavy. We use for a lehenga, we use for a saris and all. And this is the block printing. So which I am wearing is called a bale. Like it's like just only the border and center in a block printings. And this kind of is a embroidery. Like what ladies do, it's all done by, it's a like huge market all over the India, worldwide, Singapore, Dubai, Pakistan. In fact, in London, I went to the market, Wembley. I saw many of the stores, people are having the similar kind of a work. So I thought here people not knowing, but here also people knows what is chicken curry. So this kind of embroidery, it's very time taking. It just one frame take 1 hour to do. So means one piece, it takes around 3 to 4 months, like heavy one. Yeah, it's kind of that time investing. So this is the ready thing. This is the ready, you can see a process started from there and then it just reaches to there. Then step 4 is like we have to wash that blueprint you can see. So we have to wash it. Washing for also there is a separate method. We can't wash normal in the washing machine or something. There is a proper method for this. Then this is a dyeing. Like generally we do the embroidery and printing everything in white color. And then color, if suppose you are my client and you want some specific color, suppose you want blue color, you want red color, or you want ombre, like lighter to darker something. So that is called ombre. Then we do the dyeing procedure. And then do the embellishment. Embellishment is like after the embroidery, we have to decorate it. Decorate it like with the kardana, with the sequence, with the pearl, with the nice big stones, kundan we call. So you need to do the embellishment just to look more beautiful. See, this way we do the embellishment. Then we have to decide the design. Like it's now our rough piece is ready after the embellishment. So this is the design, how you want to go about it. Sleeves, how you wanted to make a sleeves, how you wanted to make a skirt, how you wanted to make a neck. So that has to be designed in AutoCAD process. And these are the few Indo-Western design made by me. It's like that's the 3-piece set, then this is the kurti and garara set. And these are the Western designs, traditional designs like lehenga, sari. These all are handwork. Whatever you can see here, all sari, lehenga and this. And these are kurta anarkali's designs. And these days chikankari also, celebrities also doing the lot many endorsements to promote this chikankari brand or chikankari work. Like in India, if like this is the Aishwarya Rai, Deepika Padukone, these are the most famous celebrities in India. So these they love to wear because of it's very sober, it's very simple, it's not very gaudy. You can wear anywhere and everywhere. This kind of work it is. And you can, if everybody knows this Ambani family, Nita Ambani is she came to my shop very oftenly, means month in a while, 1 or 2, because they are anytime you can wear. So this is kind of designs are there, and so that's it. Thank you everyone.
Kumkum, it was the first presentation, and Kumkum, I have to say you did brilliant. Honestly, I think that she really needs a big round of applause. That's it. We all are here, and we have been have done it for many times. Am I right? Yes. This is not the first time for any of us. Dr. Leena, is it not your first time, I guess? Because I never met you. This is the first time I'm meeting you, because you, Aparna, some of the people I met, so I know.
First time meeting.
No, but this is not your first presentation. And this is not your first presentation, yeah? So everybody, I know you are. So everybody's presentation, we have done it for many, many times, and you were the first time. But you did so well. I understand when I did the first presentation, my legs were like up and down dancing, honestly. I was literally dancing. I could not even stand there. And slowly you become the expert in it. This is the way you work, okay? Yeah. So you did really well. Please don't worry. She's a really good designer. If you want to get anything, Western, Indo-Western, all the details are there.
Okay. So for Sherry, our inaugural speaker, we'd like to present you with an award. And for Nikki, an eminent speaker, we'd also like to present you with an award. For Kumkum, our eminent speaker, we'd like to present you with an award. And for Kia, our delegate speaker, we'd also like to present you with an award. So it's the time of day where, on behalf of GRC 2023, I would like to thank all of you for your participation today. I hope you've all enjoyed yourselves as much as I have. It has been wonderful to hear so many amazing talks and be part of this prestigious event. I can see that immense thought has gone into organising such an important event. The knowledge that has been shared and imparted has been immense as we work together towards building a sustainable future in the world today. I would like to thank Professor Dr. Parin Samani, Mr. Alan Hock and Wendy Barton for this opportunity to be your MC for today. In addition, I would like to add that the GRC conference will start at 9:30 a.m. tomorrow.
We're here today at the Global Research Conference in Cambridge. I'm here joined with Dr. Parul Begum. She is the inaugural chief guest speaker today. So what are your 3 takeaways from today?
Well, first of all, thank you, and thanks to Dr. Parin Samani to inviting me here. There's a lot of takeaway. Top 3 definitely taking away from other speakers about yoga, how its benefits, about the whole, understanding about the research of how you can change things. From Dr. Angelica, it's been amazing. And Dr. Parin Somani talked about her life journey and how she healed. So for me, is learning from each speaker different aspect of how I can improve myself, but how also I can improve my family and other people that I serve. And for me, it's been amazing networking with everyone, learning from other people's experiences and people from all over the world. So it's amazing being part of this journey.
So what is your take-home message from the Global Research Conference 2023?
Thank you for asking. I think for me is all about learning, is all about life and all about sharing. That, we are not here for a long time, but what we learn, we must share and share with the globe. I think that's one of the things I've taken away from connecting with everyone, listening from everyone, that definitely we got a gift and we must share our gift.
Amazing. Definitely sharing is caring. We're here today at the Global Research Conference in Cambridge. I'm here with our inaugural speaker, Sherry Dasty, who's come from London. So, what is the reason for participating at the Global Research Conference?
So basically, I'm here today to share my information with others and with pleasure. And also, I gain a lot of information from other speakers, fantastic information, which is useful for daily life, such as yoga and dealing with addiction, how to deal with addiction. And this is, I think, could be the considered for a lot of people.
What are your key messages you want to share with the audience today?
So basically, I really want to encourage all of the audience and the rest of the world, especially women, to get there, become more stronger and empower themselves. And we all deserve to have stronger points, and also in a way of aesthetic and cosmetic. And everybody deserves to look their best in many different ways that they can, and that can boost their confidence, that can boost their productivity, and also they can do more and they can be loved more.
Amazing, thank you.
Hello, I'm speaking to Professor Dr. Parin Somani today at the Global Research Conference 2023. She's the Director of the London Organisation of Skills Development, and she was the keynote speaker today. How did you feel the conference went today?
I felt really good. My aim was to bring all the speakers around the world and give them a platform where they never realize about it, that what they can do in their life. So the platform which we have given them, that we wanted to bring them to the King's College in Cambridge, where they can explore themselves. They have a lot of potential in them, but we want to bring that potential out of them, and we want to give them a platform where the aims and ambition, their goals and vision, that what we have got. So we want to bring them and help them for the humanity.
Amazing. And so what did you want to see from the audience today?
I just wanted them to connect with each other, because the people who have come here from different parts of the world, UK, US, Canada, South Africa, France, Australia, Iran, India, and many more countries have come in this conference. So I wanted to bring each and everybody from the different platform, different countries, different categories of their work, what they're doing, and come here, share their knowledge, and help the society at large.
Absolutely, fabulous. And what do you see for the conference in the future?
In future, I would like to take them to the next level, but this time we are having at the Cambridge. My ambition is there that I want to take them to US in Harvard, which I'm working on it, but I don't know how successful I am. But I will always say that when you aim and when you have a vision, you visualize your things, you visualize your goal, and you will get it. Because end of the day, I'm not doing it for myself. I'm bringing the young researchers, I'm bringing the young entrepreneur, I'm bringing the people around the globe, academician, each and everyone who gets this platform, and they can grow and they can flourish in their own country.
So what is your key message for the audience from King's College, Cambridge today?
My key message is that you need to believe in yourself. When you believe in yourself, the world will believe you. This world you can have in your globe, and you can do whatever you want. That's my number one message. Number two, make sure you do everything ethically. Don't do anything wrong for anyone. Don't cheat anyone, and be ethical in your work, what you do. Number three, build the bridges between the societies, communities globally around the world.
I absolutely agree. Fabulous. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Hello, I'm speaking to Martha Davidson, who's come all the way from the States today to the Global Research Conference 2023. What would you say is the most insightful thing that you've learnt today?
The most insightful thing for me was just being in a room of people and women who have so much knowledge and experience and expertise that they're willing to give to you as being part of this community.
Yeah, absolutely. And how do you think that you'll take the knowledge that you've gained today into the future?
I'm going to take it in about 3 weeks to a conference, in the Google North American Conference, where I will speak. And I learned so much about exercises around yoga, exercises around the brain and the mind that I will be sharing to help women who are in a state of stress.
Oh, I hope you enjoy that.
Yeah.
And what would you like to, so you need to do a summary of key points from your speech today. What do the audience need to know from what you said?
Yes, my key points are that you can do anything you tell your mind you can do. Always live with the possibility of being more than enough. And also recognize that who you are is what you carry inside, not what you carry outside of your control.
Thank you. Hello, today I'm speaking to Dr. Angelica Wagner from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada at the Global Research Conference 2023. So what would you say is the most insightful thing that you've learned today?
I just love this conference. I'm blessed to speak all over the world at this point in my life, to many conferences and many events. And this was a fabulous opportunity for all of us who presented here our global research, which really wasn't discussed anywhere else. So this was an amazing opportunity. I'm so grateful to Dr. Paran Sonali for having the conference, Global Research Conferences, for organizing everything in the beautiful place of Cambridge. I've been wanting to be at Cambridge for 10 years.
That's so lovely. And how do you think you will take what you've learned today into the future with you?
I love the different perspectives of the different, not just the different scientists, but the different people who presented. And it's always important to have a global perspective, different cultures, different ways of life, different understandings, and interesting points of view.
Yeah, absolutely. And what would you say are the key points you'd like the audience to take away from your talk today?
Well, I'm grateful that I have graduated from being the blonde woman scientist to finally presenting research at Cambridge University. It was one of my life goals. Didn't know if I'd get there this lifetime even. So I'm grateful that the world is listening to global women scientists, that I'm able to present my research on non-recidivism in addiction and brain trauma, and that natural alternative methods with Hertz frequencies and based in Tesla's theories are actually coming to the world as permanent solutions for a massive global pandemic of suicide in children, as well as massive mental health issues post-COVID. So I'm so grateful to be able to present my research and my findings to a very receptive audience at Cambridge. I'm grateful.
Thank you so much.
I'm joined with Aparna Moore, an eminent speaker at the Global Research Conference in Cambridge. This is actually the first ever Global Research Conference that we've done in Cambridge. It must be such a privilege to be here. How do you feel about that?
Absolutely great, and I have been looking so very forward for it. And as we know, our network is our net worth, and that's what is making me feel so worthy, so profound. And the knowledge that everyone shared from various different areas, I'm sure it's going to help me, and it's already started giving me that flow where I should be leading ahead. So thank you for making me part of this conference.
What are the key messages you'd like to leave with our audience from your presentation today?
First thing, I would like to talk about the topic that I spoke here about yoga. I would say my body can, your body can, everybody can. So please get into this body, mind, soul connection thing and enjoy your life, which will be much more beautiful. That's what I would say. Other thing is about the Global Research Conference. It has been such a great experience. The positivity, the environment, the energy that I felt right from our networking dinner till today has been really great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm speaking to Dr. Leena Putin today. She's come here all the way from India at the Global Research Conference 2022. Could you tell me what the most insightful thing that you learned today was?
The day was really inspiring and I learned a lot of things, the global connections and global people, and it's an opportunity to meet different new positive mindsets, so it's a pleasure over here.
And how do you think you're going to apply what you've learned today in the future?
Definitely, I would love to visit again in London and would like to explore the things around and would like to enrich the aspirational, educational profits towards the youth empowerment as well.
Fabulous. And could you tell us the key points that you'd like the audience to take away from your talk today?
The simple message is that simplicity is the profound of the character, and today this kind of inspiring events are fruitful to, you can say, message towards that don't limit yourself and you can explore yourself across the whole globe without any hesitations and limitations. Stay enlightened.
Thank you. Hello, I'm speaking to Wani today from the Global Research Conference 2023. She's come all the way from France and I'd like to talk to her about how she's found the day. What's the most valuable thing that you've come out of the conference today learning?
My goodness, for me, I believe it's just like women's empowerment. It's the more of like the voices of women actually that's being shared here today. I feel so inspired by everyone's journey, but what they've been doing, like what they've done to actually get here. And it's just been like really uplifting.
Absolutely. And how do you think that you'll apply what you've learned today in the future?
Gosh, you know what, for me, I think it's going to be more of connecting with more of these people because I find myself, I tend to work alone a lot and just like I can get there quicker, and I think for me it's just more of actually like connecting with more people, more peers, and actually I can just elaborate or collaborate with more of the women here today.
Okay, so what are the key points that you'd like the audience to take away from your talk today?
It was actually to just embrace change, to really see that there's a doorway, there's a golden opportunity with change, and that's what COVID actually gave us. It was actually giving us the opportunity to become our better versions of ourselves, actually the best versions of ourselves, and to actually like to see it as a gateway to actually changing, to embrace change, and rather to actually be afraid of it and to be avoiding it, because I really feel like it's been proven, it's actually the way for the future in order for us to remain relevant, to be able to thrive in this new world that COVID is actually has ushered us into.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm speaking to Kumkum Saith, a fashion designer from India at the Global Research Conference 2023. What would you say is the most insightful thing that you've learned at the conference today?
This conference is really amazing. I just learned so many things from this conference. I met so many people like doctor, yoga therapist, and lot many people. I learned so much. I mean, it's really fruitful to us, so that we are meeting all different people at one platform, which is like GRC has given us. So it is like just we are getting connected to the all over world. We are getting connected to the people from all over world. So it is really nice learning for me, and it was nice experience as well.
Amazing. And how do you think you'll take what you've learned today into the future?
yeah, definitely. Maybe in future, definitely I'll try to make it again here, and with more of the new things, new thoughts, and means so many things. Like, yeah, of course, I will try to make it next time also.
Fabulous. And what would you say are the key points from the talk that you gave today that you'd like the audience to take away?
I think GRC is a very good platform. We should always, come across to this event, so that just this is the. I really like the thought. Whoever has made this, like this is the one platform getting all over world. People from all over world to get, we are getting. I never knew few things which I have learned here. So it is just, again, if you're meeting again, this is happening again all over the time. So it's very nice learning which we might don't know. And like, if we are staying, we are all busy in our work, our events, or whatever, like we are doing our routines. But here we are meeting all new people, new professions. We are learning so many things. So it's keep happening. I mean, it should be there. I mean, we should make it to this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.